right. Go ahead and call our council meeting to order and we can rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, folks. Roll call. A little rusty in a couple of weeks.
Councilor Atkinson. Councilor Capola. Mayor Zielinski.
Here.
Councilor Cayanessa.
Here.
Councilor Cruzen.
Here,
Rosso.
Here.
Councilor Beach. Here. Mayor, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. All right, now we're on to our audience of citizens. So if we have a sign up sheet. My goodness, you're not cold to be here? You could have stayed home and watched it on the thing. John, you're up first. Welcome, all of you. Nice to have an audience. It's okay.
I'll be very brief. I was a for 40 years.
Yes.
And so anything concerning education, John Lockery, 33 Quarry Lane, Berlin Land Trust. Teacher for 40 years, anything that pertains to education or enrichment opportunities for young people is very important to me. And I think that the last time we spoke about the Moore property, maybe we didn't emphasize quite enough the possibilities that way. Since then, I've been to the Farmington Land Trust and talked to the coordinator there who works with the local schools about the possibilities that way. So I'm very interested in what it would mean for the kids of the Berlin schools and the schools of surrounding towns. I think that everything they're doing in Farmington in terms of classes and exhibits and lectures and different kinds of events concerning landscape art, health and wellness, and the environment is something we can do in Berlin. And so my thought is whatever they do in Farmington, we can certainly do here and probably better.
Yay, there we go. That's it. That's it. Marie?
Hello again. Marie Lipsky, 405 Southington Road. I wrote stuff down, so I'll be brief.
Welcome.
Okay, but I want to thank you guys for the attention to this matter and all the work the Berlin Land Trust is doing. I'm new to it. I mean, that was my maiden voyage the last time I spoke here. So you guys are really doing a great job. Thank you. I just want to thank the Berlin Land Trust. Okay, so the seventh generation, our First Nation people got it right. Sustainability for the next 7 generations. And if you figure 25 years as a generation times 7, that's 175 years. Forward thinking, responsible stewardship. What, where will we be in 175 years? That's a given. But where will the farm be in 175 years? Consider, ironically, here we are almost to the 175th year from the farm's creation. The 175th year brought forward already. We have a generation removed from 9/11. Either they weren't born or they were too young to remember. Consider the Nelson Augustus Moore Farm as a portal in time to the beginning of our nation with photos of our veterans. None other exists. 16-year-olds who volunteered help during trauma, war, blood, death, all around them, bring forth a new nation. I was going to West Farms Mall, right? McDonald's at that age. They were bringing this nation forward. And looking at those photos, the eyes of the veterans, because of the photographs that Nelson Augustus Moore took, that we have those eyes of experience forever preserved. And his artwork, the first Civil War monument, the list goes on. So consider this piece of land needing our help to survive And we are holding a portal to the past, to the future, for the seventh generation yet to come. And it's not just our treasure, it's our nation's treasure. Our nation's eyes are watching on this. This is it's the only piece of land in this country of this caliber. So our nation's eyes are upon us to do the right thing, reserve for those yet to come. It is timeless. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Rich. Now, before you guys go on, but this is great. You're here to support this, and right? You have us already. You know that, right? Just so you know. I'm just gonna say that up front, but anyway, it's okay. No, no, no.
Oh,
But anyway, it's so-
good evening, commissioners. My name is Rich Gagliardi. I live at 1278 High Road in the Kensington section of town, and I'm also vice president of the Berlin Land Trust. Well, it's the holiday season. For some reason this year, I find myself in a very thankful spirit. I'm extremely thankful for the outpouring of support that the Berlin Land Trust and the Trust for Public Land have received as part of our efforts to save the Moore Farm and Stonehouse. I'm thankful for the express support of Mayor Mark, Commissioner Veach, and all of the town councilors that have supported and participated in our ongoing discussions about this very exciting project. I'm thankful for the support we've received from the Berlin Historical Society and the wisdom and advice they've offered to us as part of their assistance. I'm thankful for what looks to me like an incredible outpouring of support by the people of our community. Evidence of this support includes over 60 homeowners have requested and displayed our Save the Moore sign. We're about to place an order on another batch. Sorry, Joe. Well over 275 monographs about Nelson and Gustav Moore have been requested and distributed to our citizenry with an interest in learning more about a local painter that created incredible images of our beautiful town in the late 1800s. We've ordered our fourth printing of that document today. And our townspeople and friends that have supported this cause by making donations to help support this acquisition. We are thankful to each and every one of those folks who've made a cash donation to this cause. This holiday season, there is indeed a lot we can all be thankful for. I very much am hoping we will be able to add the Moore Farm and Stonehouse as a destination for folks to come, visit, and learn about art, learn about culture, learn about community, learn about history, learn about farming, learn about our environment. This will be a wonderful place for future generations to experience. I urge the council to support the proposal to save the Moore Farm and Stonehouse. Thank you.
Thanks. Very good. Mr. Dennis. Even better, you guys brought funding too. That's the other part that's just amazing, Dennis and Rich. I mean, you guys brought funding. That's
The whole
wonderful.
thing has been amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is.
Richard for bringing this matter to our attention.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's been
I know.
instrumental. We thank the Trust for Public Land for advocating so strongly for us.
Yeah.
I mean, the grants,
We need your name and address, please, before you go on.
Mark.
Thank you.
why do I always forget that?
Yeah, we
Anyway.
know where you live. We know. We can find you.
50, my name is Dennis Kern. I am the president of the Berlin Land Trust. I live at 57 Cider Mill Road in the village of Kensington,
The village.
town of Berlin. If we went on, the county of Hartford, but we don't need to go on. That's understood. We're very thankful to Richard. We're thankful for to the Trust for Public Land for advocating for us. We're thankful for the consideration of the town council. We know that we've worked with the town in the past. We share property with the town as we speak. We are prepared to work with the town in the future with regard to 940, with regard to 940 High Road. Thank you. Every now and then, there's a moment, mostly now. But, in the past, we've worked very well with the town. We intend to work in the future. There are many potential public uses of this property that we wish to share with the town. And Richard mentioned some of the historical and the John, the educational functions. We have a wonderful opportunity here. This is a well-known artist. He advocated, he spoke of Kensington, he painted Kensington. This is just a wonderful opportunity to show off Kensington and Berlin from a cultural point of view. As John indicates, from an educational point of view, we can bring that all into it. The land trust itself has expended of its own funds $50,000 toward this project, and we're standing behind it, in other words. So we appreciate very much the consideration that the town council and the good citizens of Berlin, acting through the town council, are exhibiting with regard to this project. We've come so far. There's so much money already dedicated. We just want to see it through to fruition. And then we look forward to working with the town into the future, showing not only the education and the culture and the art, but the possibility of farms, trails, environmental things, issues. We can do a lot with this property. And so we appreciate your help. Sitting here tonight are a number of people from the Berlin Land Trust and also, I think, from the Historical Society. And if they would be, if they're supportive of this and they'd be kind enough to show their hands, maybe they don't all have to come up. How would that be?
Unless you want to stay there till midnight, we're good. We'll stay. We do. It's okay. We're good.
Again, thank you very much. We appreciate your support.
Dennis, where does it, how are the timeline? How we?
Well, we have to
'cause I-
close
By,
middle, Honor Lawler, who may be coming tonight. Is she here? She,
Ah.
if you don't mind her signing up a little late, she'd be
it's-
willing to explain the timeline.
good.
better than I
Okay,
can.
great.
But the
Good.
closing
Just curious.
take place probably in the middle of January. There
Yeah,
have
okay.
to be some secondary funding,
Yeah.
financing through the Trust for Public Land. The Berlin Land Trust would own the property, but we'd have to work with the TPL to continue the funding until the monies are all paid. And that's the way it's working. We have no choice because of the nature of the purchase. We really have no choice to wait. It must be done now. It's not one of these things where you can wait a year. The owner doesn't want to allow us that kind of opportunity or time.
Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Dennis. David? Okay, next. Thanks.
Hi, David Vogt,
Hey, Dave. How are
14 Newbury's Court.
Welcome.
See you. Thanks for all the support. It's a tough few people to follow, huh? So I support this project. Could have guessed that. I'm with the Berlin Land Trust. I'll keep it very short. This is an opportunity. Opportunities like this don't come around all that often. So everything we can do, make this work. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Kelsey? Kelsey Lang?
I was gonna read Sophie and Joshua.
Okay, no, thank you. You're certainly welcome to come up. Cornell?
Cornell Boudria, 115 Skinner Road. Like everybody else here today, I'm an outsider from the Berlin Land Trust, but I'm here in support of the Moore farmstead. An amazing property, amazing opportunity for Berlin. I run a grassroots organization called Grassroots Berlin. We had the esteemed pleasure of hosting a few members of the Berlin Land Trust for coffee this past weekend, and we were just absolutely blown away by the presentation that they gave about all the opportunities that it affords, the educational opportunities, just the environmental opportunities alone are just absolutely breathtaking. This is truly a treasure. That is an opportunity for the town. I'm just here to put my support out there. And yeah, just obviously it sounds like the council's already made up their mind. I'm interested to hear about how the money will flow, like when it will be released, because there is a tight timeline for land trust. And that would really be my only question for council is how the money will flow. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thanks. And Samuel.
Samuel Shelton Dickinson, 89 Bernard Road.
Welcome.
Thank you. Proud member of the Berlin Land Trust fairly recently, but I've really been pleased with what's been going on with the Land Trust. And I just wanted to share that I was speaking with my grandfather in the 1960s. And he told me that it would be increasingly important to preserve and protect public lands. I think I was 8 or 9 at the time, and it didn't mean very much then. But at this time, I really understand the need to protect places like the Moore Farm, and I'm very hopeful that it will happen. And I hope that you will support it.
Thank you. Thank you. And not on the sheet, but do we have the financial timeline? You're up. Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for being here.
I'll try and keep it brief.
Oh, it's okay. We're good.
So, Honor Lawler, non-resident.
Huh.
I'm with the Trust for Public Land. Got it?
You're good.
So Trust for Public Land has, our contract with the seller says that we have to exercise our option to purchase. So that's the moment where you tell the seller, we are going to purchase your land, and we have 30 days from that exercise date to close. That exercise deadline is Thursday. And so we need to close within 30 days of Thursday, assuming we exercise our option to purchase on Thursday, which we will. We've been doing our due diligence on the property, the environmental, getting the survey going, all of that stuff. So things are rolling. The funding is I think when I was here last, I sort of alluded to the complexity of the financing, but essentially Trust for Public Land is borrowing money. So we as an organization will take out a loan from our internal line of credit for the whole purchase price. That's $1.7 million, less any funds that Berlin Land Trust and Trust for Public Land have raised to date, which can help us sort of pay again, borrow less funds or pay back the principal very quickly. So we will borrow that money at the sort of going rate. We have a little bit of a discount. I think we're getting like a 4.5% to 5% interest rate through our own TPL bank. And we will essentially pay back that loan as the funds come in, and the state funds and the federal funds, and assuming the municipal funds, we can't pull those in until we have sort of recorded the conservation easement or have the funds to know that, okay, we've been made whole. Now we can record the conservation easement and put the funds to pay against our principal. And so we will probably have to borrow for a period of about 6 months. And during that 6 months, it's really important that we continue to fundraise, keep securing those public grants and private grants that, to the extent that we can, to pay back our debt. Trust for Public Land, like anyone, has to pay back our debts. And so we do not protect the property officially until we are made whole. And so that's sort of the timing. We will close on the property. It will be conveyed to the Berlin Land Trust within 30 days of Thursday. And then we essentially, over the course of the next 6 months, work to put all the things in place in order to receive the state funds and to the federal funds and the municipal funds. And then we record a conservation easement, and then we're officially done at that point. But
appreciate the explanation. Great, that's great. Just out of curiosity, because I always like to know contingencies, but let's say the 6 months comes, you don't have the, even with everybody promised whatever we're agreeing to do, what happens? You can extend it a little bit? I mean, I'm just, worst case scenario, I'm just,
Yeah, worst
doesn't-
scenario.
Yeah,
We always.
not that it will be there, but we have to
Right, it's,
always plan for that.
so we have an overall budget of like 1.95 million. That includes our interest costs, our due
Okay.
diligence, our staff time, all that stuff. But say we get to, June and we've only put together 1.6 million because the federal government shut down again, or so, something happened that really
Sure.
kind of sets us back. We have to make the decision, okay, do we figure out a way to kind of refill that coffer? Or do we continue fundraising? Do we seek do we go for next year's federal grant program? I mean, that's sort of the moving target, the decisions that we make sort of on the spot. But yes, there's nothing that says, okay, we have to fill this gap by June of 2026. But Trust for Public Land as an organization, our goal is to help communities and do these projects and continue to do these projects. And so we can't, put all of our eggs in the Berlin basket. We have to be doing the projects that we've obligated ourselves to do in other communities. And so we try our best to do our projects quickly, efficiently, and sometimes they drag on. But we just try and close them as quickly as we can. And then, we stick around for those, like, there's a house here. This will need attention. We will be there to write the historic restoration grants with the land trust and, our partners. So we're not gonna, shake our hands and say bye the second we've put all the funding together, but we do try and do that as quickly as possible.
Good to know. Thank you. I don't think there's a problem, but good to know, just in
Thank
case.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. That's right. You not only the land, you also brought us a house too, you guys. That's even better. I mean, we usually just get the land. We got a barn, we got a house, we got all kind of stuff. It's all good. Anyone else on anything? Doesn't have to just be this. It could be anything else. Nothing else. Okay. We'll go ahead and close the audience of citizens and move on to our agenda. I'll just put that list up there for now. And mayor's update, I think in the interest of, getting through our meeting quickly. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. All right, that's my update. Enjoy the holidays, and let's hope it warms up a little bit. All right, on to our consent agenda.
I'd like to look at number 4 separately, and I move that we approve the rest of the consent agenda,
Okay,
except for number 4.
all right. Motion is made. We'll second that. Can we just take it out? We just take it. So we'll just take that out after we vote on the rest of the consent agenda. You folks have read it. And we'll go ahead and take a motion on everything but item 4.
I do have a comment, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor.
yes.
Going to item number 9 on the consent agenda. I don't have a problem with this, but just to make note here that this is what we discussed in the last town council meeting about White Way Laundry for the $16,000 for the first year with annual increases of 6% in the next 2 years 2 and 3. This was first brought up in a meeting where I asked the town manager to go back to purchasing, because they did say 3% to 6%.
They did.
And I wanted to get clarification on that, and they did come back at 6% for both years. But since White Way is the only one that bid on this, we're they basically got us, because of the thing being is that I think they're taking advantage of the situation by going all the way up to 6%. I just want to make a note of that. And also, when this contract does come to end, I'd like to see bids go back out again after year 3, because
Yeah.
6%, they could have come down, in year 2, but they have access to see who bids on everything. And that particular point in time, they see no other bids. Well, why not go with 6%? We'll get 6% for 2 years.
We did
I-
say 3 to 6. I think we,
That's why I wanted to clarify. That should have been clarified.
I think they were upset we went back to them. That's what I think happened, Mark,
Oh.
quite frankly. But whatever, it is what it is, but
Right,
that's,
but I mean, that should have been clarified when the original bid went out and, not had an open, it
yeah,
was like an open check there.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, no, I mean, well, of course we'll go back out to bid when it's over. Yeah, of course.
just to, that's my comment on item
Yeah.
number 9 there.
All right.
Because we do have to have the uniforms, we do have to have
Yes.
the mats and the rugs and everything else, but I just can't see getting taken advantage of because, they're the only ones out there bidding.
They're the only game in town right now. Yes. Otherwise it wouldn't have gone that way, but,
Correct.
we need
So,
it. We need it.
I just wanted to make the comment on that, on item number 9.
All right, that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and take a motion on everything but 4, and we can just discuss 4 after, so motion on the consent.
Sorry, I made it.
Oh, did you make it? I'm sorry. Second, do a second it. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. And now item number 4.
Um,
We got Charlie.
my question on number 4, it says, it's to approve donating the police traffic control costs for the Harlem Wizards versus Berlin High School staff. I'm just assuming this is a fundraising effort. It says that this organization pays for things normally paid for by the town. What are they gonna use the money for, is my question.
Yeah, would we know?
So I can, that was me. So when these requests come in for a waiver of police funds, they come in with, for the town manager to review. And so on looking at this, they are raising funds. If you look in your packet,
Yeah,
this is a fundraiser that the money is used to go to Berlin High School to obtain a facility dog. So you could also say that this is raises funds for the town of Berlin too. So it's raising.
to raise money to buy a dog.
Yes, correct.
I didn't know we needed a dog, but,
To the Berlin High School. It says go to Berlin High School to obtain a facility dog. Now,
What is a facility dog?
I think that we do have at least one facility dog that is at, I forget which school, but I did meet one of the dogs when I toured the schools and
Oh.
they comfort the children.
Oh, okay, for that stuff.
Yeah, they
Kind of figured that.
serve a very cute dog, actually. I'm assuming they want to buy another one for another school.
Ryan? Hi,
Oh, Ashley's here.
Ashley,
I could add to that. So yeah, a therapy dog is similar to a therapeutic dog. It's used for a lot of our students who have social emotional issues and need social emotional supports. We ran our pilot program out of Griswold Elementary School, and we have seen tremendous success with students who have avoidance issues, students who have a hard time regulating. So this is just a way to support some of our high need students.
good. Thank you, Ashley, for that.
Thank you, Ashley. I'll just point out, there really, for the criteria to waive the police fees, there really wasn't a perfect box for this, which is why I checked the raises funds for programs normally funded by the town.
it sounded like a similar allocation like the parking fees that we don't know where to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the way I read it, that's why I questioned it. I like dogs, but,
Okay.
yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley, for that. Okay, so we're good on this?
Make a motion, we accept number 4 from the consented.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Right, so moved. All right, on to our regular agenda.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Agenda item number 1, our ordinance review committee met this evening at 6 p.m. If you may recall from the last meeting, we had a request from a resident who was impacted by the state legislature recently changing a law in regards to veterans who are 100% disabled and their spouses, particularly surviving spouses. And so the resident who spoke, unfortunately had lost her husband, as you recall, and was ineligible to receive a tax break on her taxes because her spouse had died before the law kicked in October of 2024. The state legislature recognized this and corrected this, but made it so that the municipality would have to choose to adopt a modified schedule. And so in your packet with Agenda 1, the Ordinance Review Committee went over a number of the options because that wasn't the only option that was given to municipalities. You also have the option for 100% disabled veterans to exempt up to 2 acres of land. That is new. Previously, it was only the dwelling of the residents. And then in addition to that, there's an option to have an exemption for the up to the median value of the property. So that would be an exemption where if someone were to move to town or a veteran who's 100% disabled, they would be eligible to receive up to the median value. So that would be a way where you wouldn't inadvertently incentivize people to move into town in very high cost residencies and not pay taxes. So that was a thought as well. And then there's another eligibility for Gold Star families as well, which the ORC was very favorable of and spoke favorable of. And then there was also one additional exemption for residents who aren't disabled veterans who aren't 100% disabled deemed by the VA, but still have unemployability issues because of their service. And so the ORC was very favorable on that. And so in your packet, you do have 2 different options, I believe, to that you could consider. All this takes is a vote of the town council. Our town assessor, Joe Ferraro, is here as well. Joe, do you want to come up and speak on this? Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Well, just so these 2 options, do they include everything, the ordinance committee?
Yes.
Wi-
So the 2 options are, and in your packet, you'll see the summary from the Office of Policy and Management that goes over all of these.
Right.
So, and Jeff helped us, Attorney D'Onofrio helped us craft the motions. And maybe Jeff, what's the difference between the 2 options that we have before us?
So basically, as we talked about in the ordinance committee meeting tonight, when the veterans exemption was initially expanded by the legislature in 2024, there was some confusion because of the language, and it made it appear to assessors and town attorneys alike that the legislative intent was to exempt the improvements, the structure, not the land. So the first thing that was corrected was the ability to exempt up to 2 acres upon which the primary dwelling sits. The first option that you have is to, and again, these are discretionary. There's a non-discretionary exemption that totally disabled veterans are entitled to as a matter of law. These options expand upon what's already mandatory. And the first option is to allow you to extend the exemption to those 2 acres upon which the primary dwelling sits. Another option is to allow you to exempt a Gold Star spouse, likewise, of someone that's disabled killed in action. The third is to establish the amount of the exemption as the median assessment for single-family homes within the town. So those are really the 3 new wrinkles that are all options for you to adopt.
And there's the last one was municipal option to provide surviving spouse of eligible veteran who died prior to October 1, 2024.
Right, you can establish a date, whatever grand list year you want, and for that gap that exists prior to 2024, if you want to create retroactivity with the exemption for a Gold Star spouse, you can do that.
So option two.
Yeah.
Option two that's in your packet was the one that there was consensus from the ordinance review committee that the town should adopt. And so with that, you see that it would adopt sections F, G, from section 233,
Right.
and F and G
Yeah.
F is the municipal option to provide surviving spouse of eligible veteran who died prior to October 1, 2024 to be entitled to exemption under this subsection. And option G was the median assessed value municipal option to limit the total amount of exemption or exemptions granted under the subdivision to the median assessed valuation of residential real property in such municipality. And that median value did include the 2 acres as well. So it's the home plus the 2 acres. And
So-
then up to 2 acres. And then you have section 240. Section 240 is on the back page of that summary. And that is the one on veterans who aren't 100% disabled, but have unemployability issues. There's 8 current residents in the town that are impacted by that. And then section 241 was the surviving spouses of veterans who were killed in action while performing active military duty. So that was what the ordinance review committee recommended. We move forward with all those items.
So two includes all the items you mentioned, so we don't, option one, we're gonna do 2 and then the bottom motion.
You don't need the bottom.
Oh, we don't need-
I think the bottom motion is.
The bottom, no, because you got 241
You
and
get-
option 2.
Yeah.
That covers everything.
Everything.
Yeah, the Gold Star families, the spouses,
Spouses.
So option 2 is what we're looking at.
huh?
Option 2 is what we're looking at.
Yeah, it's everything. Yeah, we got everything wrapped into that, what we talked about. Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure we don't miss all the things we want to provide for our veterans, and they deserve that. So, all right, what questions, folks? Joe's up here. Questions? Anybody? We're good. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and take a motion. Option 2.
Move the town council to adopt ordinance committee recommendation of the local option expansion of existing totally disabled veterans for consideration of adoption of options under PA 25-168A sections 233 F and G, B section 242 and C section 241.
All right, thank you. Second. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved.
Thank you all.
All right.
I do want to add, there was a talk at the ordinance review committee of expanding that to first responders as well, and not just Gold Star families, but a tax exemption for those, if we like knock on wood, have any first responders killed in the line of duty, that would require the ordinance review committee. It's a different statute or a different ordinance. So that's another topic that the ordinance review committee can pick up if they so choose. And if
Yeah, I think we want to take a look at that at the next ordinance committee to add that to anyone lost in the line of duty.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right. Agenda item number 2.
Thanks, Joe.
Agenda item number 2 this evening. This is an item that we've talked about as with the council a couple times now, and this is the Connecticut Municipal Development Authority, and the CRDA is it's a public, semi-public agency, quasi-public entity that municipalities are entitled to join or able to join if they meet certain requirements. And joining the CMDA, becoming a member municipality, does potentially come with benefits in the form of potential funding for economic development projects, both private and municipal, public. So, Chris, do you want to?
Sure, yes. So CMDA was actually set up in statute, I believe, in 2018 by our former state representative, Eric Simowitz. It was not put into place until 2024. CMDA is basically for communities that have a transit hub. We have our train station. This public hearing essentially is to do a discussion on it. And at this point, essentially, all we're looking to do is to potentially have town manager by town council approval, sign an MOU with them to see if working with them long-term makes sense. Best example to give you on this is CMDA is what CRDA is to Hartford. So if you look at a lot of the apartments, the other things being done in Hartford, CRDA puts in funding.
Excuse me, Chris, can you say what those acronyms are? Because I mean,
apologize. So
some of the
Connecticut-
people here may not know what they are.
CMDA is Connecticut Municipal Development Authority. That's the group that we're eligible for, CMDA. CRDA, which is Capital Region Development Authority. So towns, including Hartford and those that touch Hartford, are eligible for funding. And a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, but a portion of the projects in Hartford, because of the Capital Region Development Authority, were able to be funded because of lower interest loans, grants, and the like. So really, this is an opportunity for a town like Berlin to look at this. They're going to come in, work with our planning staff, and to make some recommendations. And the good thing about this is in statute, they do talk about housing, but the word affordable is nowhere in the statute. So really all it is going to be having a discussion to see if it may not make sense for us. When I look at things such as on steel, the long-term possibilities, if there was an opportunity of getting some money from the state, we send a lot up there from the town of Berlin. We might as well at least have the discussion and see if it's worthwhile for us to become part of it.
And just to piggyback onto what Chris said, if you may recall, we had the executive director of CMDA, Dave Corris, come to a meeting to speak about this. And one of the things, after the public hearing, if we do decide to become a member municipality with them, what they would do is they would work with, as Chris said, the planning staff and look at our existing regulations. They may have no changes. They may have not, they may say our regs are good and we're good to go. They may have some suggestions. We at no point in time are obligated to make any of those recommendations and can withdraw at any time. So it's really in the town, I feel it's in the town's best interest because we have nothing to necessarily lose by becoming a member municipality when we can opt out at any time. So as Chris said, there is no affordability component to this, but there are funding sources that could be beneficial to the town if we did become a member municipality. So I think it's worth considering with the notion that we can always withdraw.
The nice thing is too, is the statute was written very openly. You can talk about development, redevelopment, demolition, brownfield. There's a lot of things that are under there. So I believe that it would give the town of Berlin the opportunity to potentially tap into some things that could help make projects that may not be tenable more tenable.
All right, what do you think, folks? Questions for Chris? Any questions? No? Okay, all right, well, with that, thank you, Chris. We'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to set a public hearing on January 2026 at 7 PM for consideration of the town of Berlin to become a member of the municipality of Connecticut Municipal Development Authority.
Thank you, second. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
You all have a great holiday.
All right, thanks, Chris. You too.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, moving on, agenda item number 3. This is some continuation, the good news that we received from the state with our community connectivity grant of $1 million, or $800,000 that we received for the areas of by Hubbard Elementary School and Griswold Elementary School. Our Public Works Director, Mike Ahern, is with us this evening. He put together this agenda item where we need to accept the grant. And so what ends up happening a lot of times when we go out, we get approval from the council, the council, to apply for the grant, but we also should say, and if we get it, to accept it. So the deadline, I think, is in the 18th. So I'm asking for your permission to accept this grant. There is no funding that is needed from the town at this point. It's the planning has already been done. And so, as you see, there's no funding required. Mike, am I missing anything?
I mean, this is basically a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, this is a no-brainer.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
This is to allow us to say yes to $800,000. Okay.
No, why would we do that? Why would we do that?
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a simple email from Ryan and he'll probably designate me as point of contact, but
Gotcha.
it's a formality, but
Yeah.
we didn't, in the previous motion, we didn't put that stipulation in that you
Right.
allow us to accept it. So we're trying to.
Oh, we gotcha, yeah.
They're waiting with bated breath.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, we all are. Okay, questions for Mike? No? All right, good. So with that, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to formally accept $800,000 2025 Community Connectivity Grant Award for sidewalk projects near Griswold and Hubbard Elementary Schools, and to sign and subsequent commit to fund letter and project authorization letter to be issued by the Connecticut Department of Transportation.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
The next item, Mike is here for this one. This is a big project that we have coming up. We've spoken about it in the past. You may recall the Glen Street Bridge. We previously, the council allocated the funding for this. Now, this is a project that's 100% funded between federal and state funding, but the town has to come up with the funding first. And we went out to bid. I'll let Mike speak to that, and we're ready to award the contract right tonight.
We went out to bid. We received 9 bids. 2 were knocked out of the gate. 1 didn't submit a required document. The other got to fill out 1 major item on the bid form, which was a little unusual. So the third bidder is Dayton Construction of Watertown, Connecticut, who actually I've worked with before on a bridge project. They're a really good firm. The bid was $3.6 million roughly. Again, this is going to be 100% coming back to the town, but the town has to pay the bills and then put in reimbursement requests. So we have to have the money in the bank to pay the contractor, and then we put a reimbursement request and it comes back into the pot. So we'll get all this money back. And it's been set aside by the finance department. So we want to get permission to award the contract to Dayton Construction with a 5% contingency. The amounts are there. We have the accounts listed. And as soon as they start billing, we'll get the reimbursement requests in to get the money back for the next bridge project that's going to be coming.
Nice.
I knew this question. The engineers for DOT.
Yeah, I know, that's
I know.
possible to read, yeah.
Got this out at this side to read, this size to read it. But they did a thorough analysis of all the bids, went through it. The red dot there is where they missed their, putting it in. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they could have formatted that. Engineers. You're gonna.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Mike. Questions, folks? Any questions? We're good. We've been waiting on this, talking about this at length. So no more questions. We'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to enter into contract agreement number 2026-12 with Dayton Construction of Watertown, Connecticut to replace the Glen Street Bridge number 06955, the amount of $3,654,987, and to authorize the town manager to increase the contract value through change orders to an amount not to exceed $3,837,740.
Second. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, Mike.
Mike.
Thanks. No, he's staying. Is he staying? He's staying. He can't leave. We can't let him leave.
Well, the next one's a doozy. He's going to want to stick around for this.
Yeah.
So this is some more good news, honestly. Agenda item number 5. This is, as you may recall, we've spoken about this. The Berlin High School renovate to new project. The audit was finally completed, and Berlin received a closeout reimbursement of $3.9 million. And with that, it presents, this is funding that was not budgeted for. And with that, it presents a unique opportunity to the town to address a number of projects and capital items, one-time use items that may be of high priority for the town. And I've been working with our finance director, Kevin Delaney, as well as having conversations with town staff and the finance and the Board of Finance as well. And we've had conversations with the town council. And before you tonight is a summary of items for potential funding And I'll turn it over to Kevin. Go over those items.
Thank you. In your packet, you should have a presentation. That's the same one that was shared with the Board of Finance.
Yes.
Last Tuesday, as well as a spreadsheet. Finance size.
Yeah, right.
Bigger
This,
than mine. Have
this here?
a bit of, you might want to look at those side by side as we kind of go through it. The presentation is really going to cover agenda items 5 and 6 together. So I'll
yeah.
go through as quickly as I can. Normally, when we ask for a non-budgeted appropriation, try to give a very high level and then cover the items at the next meeting. But because between the transfers and this, you're getting close to $5 million. I'm going to go into a little more detail than normal tonight so that when you call the meeting, you're comfortable that something you should be calling the meeting for. Before I go into that, I just want to take a moment because this is actually my 10th budget season here. And every year since I started, and there's a couple of you who were downstairs in the Board of Ed room before the Board of Finance even existed when we did that.
Yes.
I've harped on, we went years with no funding of the pension plan, very small funding. We need to fund, we need to fund. I'm happy to say that after over $14 million of lump sum payouts, strong market, and continuous investment, that the actuarial determined employer contribution for the closed plan is 0 for the upcoming budget year. That can fluctuate year to year.
Yeah.
Interest rates come down, the liability goes up, investment returns and the like. But after 9 years of significant investments and deferring a lot of other things to meet the obligation, you legitimately do not have to budget money in the upcoming budget for fiscal year 27 for the closed one. You do a little bit for the police plan.
Yeah.
But that's substantial. Last year, you took $295,000 out of savings and put it into that. So it wasn't in the mill rate, but it was coming out of savings. For the next budget, the request would be to take 0 out. So good news on a front that we've talked about for several years.
That's the closed pension, the old pension plan.
It's the old pension plan.
Yeah, we had an old pension, just for the sake of the folks here, we had an old pension plan years ago. It got closed and then we went to a 401k. For everybody in the town, and then recently, I guess 2 years ago now, we put the police in the separate now regular pension plan because we couldn't recruit anybody without it. Really is the problem with law enforcement today. But the old pension plan, there's still a few people left in it. Very few now, I think.
Actives and
3.
retirees.
Yeah, we have some retirees, of course, and then there's some active folks, but there was nothing that hadn't been funded for many years, and whatever they did, I don't know, what was it, 25 years ago or something with that pension plan when they voted to go to the 401k to get folks to agree to it. They not only, you had a choice when you retired under the old plan to get an annuity payment, right, monthly pension check, yearly pension check, or a lump sum payment, which, yikes, lump sum payment was not, I never heard of that before in a public pension plan, but Berlin did it, and they didn't fund it then, which was a problem for many years. So, and folks were walking out with, they deserved it. Nothing wrong with that, but they didn't fund it. So, we were kind of in a lot of people were reaching their retirement age. Going back now about 10 years, a bunch during the last 10 years have retired, and I believe everybody, I think, chose the lump sum, which was, 7 figures in some cases. And we had no money to fund it because no one had funded that for years. So through the magic of the finance director and everything else we did to cover all that, we got through it, which was a great fiscal burden on the town. And now we're secure with that. And again, there's only 3 actives left. There's only 3. Okay, and we're down to 3.
3 left.
Okay, and I'm sure it'll be lump sums, but we're ready for that. So it was quite a undertaking by the town and everybody, and your tax dollars. We had to figure out how to do all that. So we got there, and we're in much better shape financially now because of that. So
absolutely. Yeah. So the second part, which is kind of the fun part, I imagine, for a lot of folks, is what do you do with this money? So, as the town manager mentioned, close to $3.9 million reimbursed In addition to that, the town had set aside $55,000. Closing out a school project, $81 million school project, can be a significant undertaking. So some money was set aside to bring back the project management firm that had been part of the school to be able to comb through and deal with the state auditors. Over probably the last 8 to 9 months, the director of business operations from the Board of Ed and myself basically assumed leadership of doing that. And we didn't go outside and we closed it. So that's where that additional money that you're looking at is north of $4 million available to use. That's the town's money. You already put it out years ago, so it is the town's money to use. In addition to that, and this is at the top of your spreadsheet, I'm sure you all recall when the Griswold and Hubbard HVAC projects were going forward. Bids came in a little bit higher. There was some delay in when the project was going to go, and there was a bit of a race to figure out how we would get to the end of that. As a result of that, and going out to bid a second time for the golf course bunker project, the borrowing that was intended for July was actually done in October. You borrow that late in the year, don't actually make a principal payment. Nobody purchases the bonds and expects to receive principal payments within a month or two. So you have an opportunity this year. We had budgeted to pay principal to borrow in July. So you have that plus half a year's interest, because now you didn't pay interest on the first half either because we didn't borrow the money. That's where we're looking to make a transfer, and that would be part of agenda item 6 for transferring that money effective April 1st. The charter includes moving from one department to another with a transfer until the last 3 months of the year, but you can approve it now effective April 1. So looking at that pile of money, we had a capital meeting, as we do every year, and looked at capital items. And we did it through a lens really of 4 areas, and that's slide 4 that you're looking at. Every year we talk about with the budget, there's 4 primary categories where we look at spending. There's public safety, education, infrastructure, and then culture and recreation. So we tried to look at what are the highest priority items, the items you've already approved, you're already into, that fall into that bucket as something of value to the town. Second is going all the way back about 10 years now, when the debt level was at about 107 million, established a policy between the council, the Board of Finance, borrow less than we were retiring. Essentially, just borrowing less means you're going to bend your debt curve. There were years of no borrowing, but the commitment was we're not going to borrow more than we're already retiring. So every year we would go down. We're trying to continue that practice, even though your debt load has come down. Back then, the debt service was about $8 million for the year. To put that in perspective, the budget was about $88 million that year. About $8 million was debt. Throw in the pension, it was about 13% cost. This year coming up, your debt service payments will be less than $5 million. So keeping it underneath also means you're going to borrow less. It's a good position to be in. The third piece,
and what's the amount of debt now? We went from 107 million to, what are we at now?
46 million with
46
interest.
million.
You're about 39 million principal.
So folks, just again, another thing that, we had to deal with, the pension plan was one, but the debt was 107 million. Our budget was, I think, 85 million back then. So we were not in a good shape, very, very bad shape financially. Now we're down to 50 something million with interest. Cut that more than in half. And as Kevin mentioned, the benefit to that is, right, the payment, like you got to pay your mortgage. We had to pay the debt, and that was $8 million a year, which we could use for other stuff, right? All the stuff we have to do in our community. Now it's down to 5 million, and it's still going down. We're going to be dipped down into the $40 million range of debt with a town, and the town our size with our budget now, we're a little over 100 million, I think, with our budget, right? Which means, we have a good spot. That's why I have a AAA bond rating, and that's why when we now do have to borrow money for major projects, which we're going to have to do, if we're in that range of $40 million, we get the lowest rate, and obviously the town is a AAA bond rated town, so folks want to come and lend us money at a good rate. So that's where we've taken the town from that scenario down to a much better, fiscal position for all of us taxpayers. That's why we can keep our taxes fairly low compared to our surrounding towns. So just kind of put that in perspective, and due to our town staff and, everybody that worked, the Board of Finance, everybody worked on this to get to this spot.
Absolutely.
So.
The third consideration was cash flow. So when you think of borrowing, there's two pieces. One is you just have to borrow because you just need the absolute money to make the payment. The other is you need the cash flow in order to pay the contractors as you move along. So to the extent we have cash in place, the start of a project, you can ultimately delay. Or as happened last year, unintentionally, you delay the project and you don't need the cash as early on. So with the consideration of cash flow, and then finally, trying to utilize existing bond authority. When any community goes out and issues a bond, the first thing you have to do is work with your bond attorney to draft an ordinance and approve the ordinance. And like anybody who does work, the attorneys want to be paid. So to the extent we can apply this money in an area where you leave borrowing to areas where you already have an ordinance and not create as many new ones, you save operating costs of just not paying the lawyers as much because you're not asking them. So that was kind of the lens we looked at through this and had the capital committee meeting. I did share out a link to the video. We did record it on Zoom, and several Board of Finance members were able to make it. Several have watched the video, and I did share it out with you, and happy to share it again if anybody has placed it. It was about 2 hours long. We go through all the departments. We talk through all of the requests. And then the town manager and I met after that and reprioritized a couple of things. But generally, what you're looking at for the requests is trying to incorporate all of those areas, all of those thoughts, figure out how to provide the best value to the town with this substantial amount of money. The next slide just shows you the long-term plan, not just for this year coming up in 27, but going out. If we were to do nothing, we would ask to borrow more than $9 million. Clearly, that flies in the face at the very basic level of borrow less than you're retiring, but it's also a substantial amount of borrowing. So we tried to address some of that. The proposal you have takes a look at some of the projects, most of which have already been approved and are already in place, to utilize this money so that the borrowing number can be down to $4,050,000.
Right.
Just quickly kind of going through where we are, and I'll just quickly, for purposes of time, just skip to what the items are that we have and why they were selected. So skipping to slide 10, you have the BHS moisture remediation. There's obviously a critical issue at the high school that we want to address, and we want to provide seed funding. Some people may consider this substantial seed funding, but it's also a substantial project. So the request is to apply $1 million to that project so that considerable work can be done. Anything that's done at a school, really, you're thinking end of school, jump on it immediately because you have a narrow window while the kids are out.
And let's just, so you folks, that $1 million, it's a shame that we have to do this, but that's just you probably hopefully heard about it or seen it somewhere out there. But so when they built the school, what is it, 10 years ago now? I guess about 10 years old now, right? They decided to use some new type of glue to glue the tiles down onto the concrete floor. Some of the floor is obviously on the ground. The second level is not. But so the glue they used was I guess sold to us or to the contractor as a environmental friendly glue because it's made out of plant material. Well, I guess plant material in touch with moisture means mold. So we have a problem beneath the tile, which is sealed. There's no mold spores in the air. We've done extensive testing now, but we have to rip up every tile basically in the high school, both floors, the first floor, the ground floor that's touching the ground first, and change it all. So to the tune of probably might be more than $1 million, unfortunately. The company that made the glue is out of business. What a surprise. And I'm sure they found that other places and other schools. We were, shocked to find it. And I think we noticed it probably 2 years ago now that some of the tiles that were touching the ground and the old part of the school, the old, they kept the, you know, the kind of the atrium there, where the grass is. There's two sections like that they kept. And the tiles were discoloring, and, you know, one thing led to another, and we found the mold underneath. They're all sealed, but as we rip them up and replace them, and we're still not sure what we're going to put in place, we have to be cautious, right? We can't really do it when the students are there, so it's over kind of a multi-year project. But unfortunately, that, you know, was discovered. I'm glad we discovered it before mold got into the air, right? But so that's the good thing. The bad thing is it's very expensive to do. And we should not be doing it on a 10-year-old school. But again, that's the product that was chosen, and, you know, nobody knew what would happen. Although, to me, common sense would dictate, you know, the green glue with plant material on a moist floor that's touching the ground probably was not the best choice. But it is what it is. So just so you know, that's where we could use that $1 million for a lot of other things. Unfortunately, we will fix that high school. So that's where we're at. But
The second item from
Yep.
the PHS reimbursement that we're looking at are school vans. You recall last year that money was put aside from the initial pre-final reimbursement from school project and catching up on 8 vans. The school vans are really in need of catch-up. We're probably another year after this, but this is an opportunity to continue to catch up the school vans for the safety of the kids who are transported in them. The next one is police vehicles, 2 of which are would be canine vehicles that are quite old and really in need of repair, and then 3 other patrol vehicles the police need. That money would be combined with the police extra duty fund. So when you see the police officers out at a site directing traffic, the town is actually being reimbursed by the private company doing that work. That money is put into a separate fund so that it is earmarked to be transferred at this time of the year to purchase vehicles to help defer taxpayer burden on purchasing vehicles. The next one is UTVs, 2 of them from the fire department. These were heavily used during the Lamentation Mountain fire, really can stand to be replaced. It's a public safety matter, and that's an area that we really focused on. The next one is a skid steer. This one is infrastructure in nature, and initially you might say, well, it's probably not going to be high up on your list as compared to a lot of the public safety items. The state a few years ago instituted a fee that would then be reimbursed back to towns for every nip that is purchased. And for those who are wondering, yes, it is the little alcohol nips. The town has, twice a year, we get a reimbursement. It's been in place now 2.5 years. We've got about $58,000 in that fund. So $100,000 skid steer, but it's very specific in the statute of what it can be used for. This skid steer, in addition to traditional skid steer stuff, I'll just say, can be used as a street sweeper. It has an attachment that comes with it. So it can be used as a secondary street sweeper, a backup if one breaks, and street sweepers are specifically permitted in the statute. So this made the list because we're really talking about $42,000 of the reimbursement to help with this infrastructure item and match it up there and use the money. Next is radio upgrade for the fire department. This is the radio system that the police moved to the state system, you'll recall, and the town has, the police did a great job, executed on that, and it's wonderful. They've now turned over that system to the fire department. They have had some intermittent outages and they need to upgrade it. And so this is asking for the money to upgrade that, to make sure that in the event fire department needs to respond to a call, they can be in contact back to dispatch or to each other. Clear public safety need, and one that we thought was a high priority. One of the advantages of this is if you agree to do the town meeting and appropriate the money at your meeting in January, the Board of Finance can vote. And so by mid-January, the fire department can kick off that project and deal with the matters as quickly as we can possibly do. The next one is Griswold HVAC. So we have the project ongoing. There's $1,030,000 that we would need to borrow this year. That project, in order for us to continue getting the state reimbursement, needs to be substantially completed by December 31st of 2026. Town has already requested and received a 1-year extension. That's the most the state has offered. Therefore, they're going to have to move quickly in the spring and summer. I would love to be able to defer borrowing any of these bonds until October next year to help really offset about $400,000 to $500,000 in 27 budget of debt service payments. We can keep that pushed off. But this is where the cash flow comes in. In order to have the vendor move quickly, we need to have the money in place to pay them. We can direct this money, you now put the cash in place, and it allows for deferring borrowing until next fall and keep that debt service down in next year's budget. You have all talked about, and I think nodded your head in approval of the East Berlin complex, basically the swimming pool becoming a splash pad, the building and others. This would put $1 million towards that again as seed money. I would expect, based on the cost estimates, we're probably looking at a $4 to $5 million project. So this is truly seed money, but it's substantial seed money and an opportunity to really move forward with the plans and initial work there to help with that. Boiler replacement. Last year, there was an emergency $100,000 provided because a boiler at Willard needed to be replaced. It's coming into the winter and it needed to be done. This would be the second boiler and completing all of the rework of the wiring, the piping and the like there. And then, you know, that is the proposal of what to use the BHS money for. The reimbursement or the transfer piece or the debt service savings, we're proposing to use it for four things. One is to fund the requested $255,000 grant for the Nelson Augustus Moore. Somebody had mentioned earlier about where's the money.
None of these folks have heard of that yet. You haven't heard of the Augustus Moore project, have you? No.
So that would be the proposal. Again, it would be, it could be approved tonight. The transfer could be approved. And then the Board of Finance could approve it in January. We wouldn't be able to actually move the money till April 1st, but that would have the money lined up, ready to go once you authorize the town manager to pay the money later on. The second is $65,000. 4 years ago, it takes that long, the town purchased the last of 4 replacement pumpers for the fire department. That's especially critical in parts of town that don't have access to water when there's a fire. It's critical. That will be arriving next August. The bonding that was done this past year included $335,000 of bond premium. That was earmarked towards this vehicle. This $65,000 would fill out the $400,000 that's remaining to fund that, and then you won't have to bond for that at all, and we could take possession of the vehicle. And then finally, the last 2 items for the transfer are Veterans Park bridges. So at Veterans Park, the bridges, similar to those who have walked at Pistol Creek and the work that the Public Grounds Department did there. You know, Steve Wood does a great job of maintaining these things and highlighting the issues, and he's really highlighted that this is an issue we need to move on. It is not the most expensive item, but it is also a critical public safety item, as we don't want anybody to fall and get hurt. And then lastly, the physical services generator. So the complex that has Public Works, has, you know, grounds, water control, the garage. They have a backup generator there that is quite old and in need of replacement. And so asking to take $100,000 of that transfer so that they can go out and purchase a replacement. This is an area that in the event of an emergency in town, they are the ones who would be coming out to help the town clear the roads, take care of safety. This is where they get their fuel. So making sure that that complex is up and running is critical. So I know it's more than they normally do, but given that we're asking you to transfer and appropriate over $5 million, I wanted to give a little bit of detail on what they are and what the logic was choosing these items.
So, yeah, go ahead, Donna. Yeah, we had a question too.
The Veterans Park Bridge? Yeah. That's the 30,000.
30.
That is Steve went out and did get one quote and then added a 15% contingency on that. So it's roughly speaking $30,000. Again, not the biggest item on the list, but it's a used item and we don't want anybody to fall and get hurt.
We'll take that. Wasn't, we have ARPA monies that we used for that?
No, we used them
All for
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry. Because we were hitting the deadline, we did shift $850,000 to the police station so that we could.
Oh, right.
We had to obligate it all by December 31st, 25. Yep.
And Hubbard is still just that's,
Hubbard's all set.
that's all set, right?
1,030,000 would get the cash in place for the contract. Now, it wouldn't fund any of the contingency, and we typically don't bond contingency unless we need it. There was money from the allowances, so within the contractor's bids, they have allowances. We received money back from both the engineer or the oversight company as well as the construction company for Willard. So we have that money still sitting there that could be moved in if we need contingency from either of the other two projects. And we've left money in place because Willard still needs to put the, like, I'm probably going to use the wrong terms, but the sound deadening activity to comply with the noise ordinance. So the project was done before the noise ordinance was put in place. So they're going to do this separately for all the residents who are in that area. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's good. I got just a couple questions. The police vehicles, so I think, so these vehicles are in addition to the 4 that were in the budget for this year, right?
These would be for next year. So when next year's budget.
Next year's budget, yeah.
The police, unfortunately, some of that money was used to replace vehicles that were permanently taken off the road because they were in.
Yeah, I think one just recently, right, when there accident, the other, huh? We haven't got that far yet, okay.
There was one days ago, right?
Yeah, a few days ago, yeah.
There was another substantial one, the vehicle was totaled.
Yeah,
several months ago.
yeah. Okay, so I just was, well, maybe for you, Jim, just a question, but before you go, Kevin, just, so the only other thing that I think it's worth asking about, and I know we had, well, a rough estimate, I don't know if Doug Solik's working on it, but painting the meeting house. It's a town building, the paint looks horrendous. We have to protect that building, and of course, it's our 250th, anniversary of the United States. And the meeting house we just had the 250th anniversary, which was the year before. But we got to paint that. The town has to paint that. It looks terrible, and so could we somehow fit that into?
One of the thoughts would.
Do we have the price was 200 grand, maybe 200 grand?
That's the initial estimate.
Something like that, right?
And the way the motion is written, there is a line added in at the end that the items and amounts may change at the town meeting.
Okay.
So we want to give that flexibility.
Okay, so we'll do it in the.
You could do it tonight and say something different.
Well, we'll wait for the public meeting. Yeah, that
One
makes.
thought would be reduce the amount you've dedicated either to BHS remediation from $1 million to 800,000, or the East Berlin complex from $1 million to 800,000, or 100,000 from each and make them 900,000.
Gotcha.
Put 200,000 into it.
That makes sense, probably. Does that make better sense? Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, you can modify the dollar amounts when you make the motion, and then the meeting would be called that way, or we could do it at the meeting. And Kate and I talked about trying to give
Put
you
it at the
guys-
meeting, maybe. Do it at the meeting if the public just wants to say something. But the first meeting in January, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so you know, and you could do, of course, we did it, I think, at the last town meeting also, that
Right.
some amendments made.
Right.
But exactly what Kevin just said is that we're going to include the fact that it could be modified. But this listing is actually I publicize this.
Okay.
So if you want to get it out that you want to do the meeting house, we may want to change the 2 recommendations down to the 900,000. We'll add the 200,000 in for the Worthington Meeting House. And then that way it's publicized that way, and it'll be on the agenda. Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. Yeah, so folks could come
That
and
way people
yeah.
know, and
It's on the list.
that
Yeah.
whole bit.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good.
we were trying to figure out the best way to use this money to help the most across the town. And if you look at the numbers, we tried to hit all 4 of those boxes.
Yeah.
Safety, education, civic and recreation, as well as infrastructure.
So just
That's
to
good.
understand the motion, we're going to change the East Berlin Recreation Complex renovations down to 900,000, correct?
Yes.
And then the BHS down to 900,000.
And add meeting house.
Yes, add the meeting house paint
right? Would it just be paint? Is that what it's
I think they're doing, aren't they doing a little bit more than paint? Are they gonna sort of fix the, right?
Doug is here.
Maybe call
Doug,
it.
is Doug here?
Yeah, Doug,
Oh, there he is, there he is,
Maybe
Doug,
renovate
yeah,
it
but
or something.
I
Talked about this today. It is more.
Oh, okay.
It's more than just paint.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
Police vehicles are worth
Yeah.
Well, we'll do, well, we can, whatever, police or the meeting house, whatever one.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's a better.
Oh, yeah, let's call it meeting house renovation. Does that make sense? Okay, all right. All right. Police, you there? Yeah, is it historical? Is that it? Is that the color it will, if we know yet, her historical? It is what it is. If it's historical, that's great. As long as we fix it, that's the main thing. What do you think, Charlie?
What, the changes? I'll try.
The mustard yellow, no, just the changes, the changes.
I had a question on the school buses.
Yes, go ahead, yeah. School,
Um,
these are
Could I
buses.
just ask
Let's do the buses,
about the school vans?
the
And
vans.
Because I have the finance guy and the fleet guy in the same place, doesn't happen very often. I read that the state legislature put up a lot of money for electric school buses and nobody claimed it because none of the towns want to deal with electric school buses. Is there any, and it was for charging stations and vehicles, is there any way we could apply for that and convert some of the vans to electric? Is it worth the trouble? Well,
own the buses, that's.
So
no,
the-
but
The vans.
could we call the vans school buses under that grant program is my question. Would they,
Ashley, do you have a comment on that?
She's there.
Hi. No, a student transportation vehicle is defined differently by law than a student, than a bus. As you know, we do contract our transportation services through NBT. We've been monitoring this law as well. There seems to be a lot of pushback from transportation companies in general because they're just not ready for it. And I think that's why that money is kind of just sitting there. Nobody really wants to take ownership of it. I will tell you that our mechanics, that maintenance, the school vehicles over at NBT, I don't believe they are certified for electric vehicles. We did kind of discuss when we were purchasing a couple of vehicles last season, possibly getting hybrid vehicles, and they just were not at a place where they could accommodate that request.
well, I would think if we got brand new, and I don't know how the grant is written, is it for buses or for school transportation vehicles? I'm just asking, could we look into that? If we could get free vans, I'm all for it. If they were brand new, they'd be under warranty. The vendor wouldn't even have to service them till the warranty ran out. And there's a lot less vehicle maintenance on an electrical vehicle than there is on a gas.
But there's also some, distance problems with them. Depending on how many, and I don't know exactly, Ashley probably can answer it. The vehicles, I don't know how many miles they're gonna put on between charging and everything.
That's why I'm
else,
asking-
Whether they are suited for this.
That's why I'm asking the experts. I'm just asking, could we look at it? Because if we can get free buses or vans, whatever you want to call them, I'm all for it. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, problem.
Somebody got to be the first one.
Huh.
They're giving us $3 million to cut carbon emissions, put in a sidewalk. How much carbon could we save with electric vans? I mean, you know.
So I could look into this a little further, but all of the research I have done on this particular grant, it is specific to school buses, not vans. But I'll double check.
Thank you.
Police vehicles,
Police vehicle.
police vehicles.
So you gave us a sum of money last year.
Yes,
Purchased police vehicles.
right.
We came upon a deal on a pickup truck. If I'm correct, left over, we purchased that.
Yeah.
We purchased and is on order a larger SUV administration vehicle. And tonight you'll be looking to partially fund the vehicle that was totaled last year.
that'll eat up all the funds of vehicles last year.
From last year.
So this year,
Yeah.
we have two K-9 cars. K-9 cars are 2019. So they're 5 to 6 years old. They'll be 6+ years old when the new ones come in and they're funded. They have 100,000 plus on each one of them. Unfortunately, we did lose one last week, K-9 car, due to an accident. And we have in the budget, we have 3 regular patrol vehicles. Those regular patrol vehicles are part of the patrol fleet downstairs that are up for replacement, either due to age, mileage, or actual hours that are on the vehicle.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean,
It's a little bigger than normal,
yeah,
but we have to play a little bit of catch up here. And the two K-9 cars are the ones that are the bigger hit.
yeah, and I mean, they're patrol vehicles too, so I mean, that's fine. My concern is that the new cars go to patrol. I mean, you know, they're the ones that are burning up the cars more than, you know, detective's not sitting in his car all day, all night sometimes, you know, it's not. And what's that SUV that's going to admin, a brand new car is going to administration?
Assigned to admin.
And what are they doing with a brand new car there? Admin for what? Like counting pencils at the police station? No, I'm sorry, I'm just making a joke, but I mean, if it's another new car, I'd rather go to patrol, but
So it is a roll down vehicle.
yeah,
And what I mean by a roll down
Yeah.
vehicle is they will replace an admin vehicle, and that admin vehicle then will get replaced to a interior car or inside car, which is
Yeah.
a detective car.
yeah.
And a detective car, those detective cars now are 12 to 13 years old.
Oh.
So it's just a
Yeah, trying
roll
to
down.
roll it down.
Yeah.
So,
The
but,
car wheel was involved with that accident, last week. Is that told?
We believe that car is totaled. We
Okay,
had a
thank you.
shop come over and look at it along with myself. We went over it with a fine tooth comb, and we believe that once it's looked at by the insurance company, they will total that.
And that's an older car too, right? You said
That is
6 years?
That was a
vehicle.
K-9, right?
This is a 2019.
Okay, thank you.
so, all right, so I mean, they're gonna float another car down to, patrol from that admin car? I mean, or where would the cut?
I believe it's going down to the detective.
Oh, to the
replace
detectives.
One of the old Tauruses that are out
Oh, okay, okay. All right, I mean, I just, you know, to me, the guys inside aren't, you know, burning it up like the patrol units are, obviously, so I'd hope the newer cars would go to patrol and, you know, the other cars that they're not in every, and is every detective assigned a car? Do you know?
Drew's
Jim?
on.
Oh, is Drew here?
Drew can answer those questions a little better than I can.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Mr. Mayor, every detective is assigned a vehicle, and we
Right.
have 3 detective vehicles now that are well over 100,000 miles,
Yeah.
and one is at 90,000 miles, and they're very old as well. So
Yeah.
what we're doing is if an admin car is replaced, we try to replace it while it's still a viable vehicle. We send it down to the Bureau, and then we will replace the oldest vehicles that are in the Bureau.
Yeah.
So one of those cars will go to replace one of those high mileage cars.
So the new admin vehicle, is that just, many people will use that admin vehicle, the new one, or is that assigned to a
No.
particular?
The chief, deputy chief, and lieutenants are assigned a vehicle. So
Okay.
this is the highest mileage vehicle that we have.
Right, but the one that's going down, that's you're moving down with the new vehicle comes in, that one goes down the chain somewhere.
Correct.
a
Correct. They
car
get
that-
recycled down. And then the oldest vehicles then go back to the town.
Is that a car that has a lot of commuting miles on it, that car you're floating down? Out of
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just keep it for commuting instead of burning up a new car?
That vehicle was due for replacement last year, and we skipped it so we can get a patrol vehicle. But if we don't replace it now, it's not going to be worth anything. You know, it's just going to have too many miles on it to be able to be sent down to the Bureau.
It's
They
got
just they have to
mileage. Mileage, not hours, right? Or both?
mileage.
Don't you count it both ways now?
For patrol vehicles, we do.
Yeah, okay.
Patrol vehicles have a lot of idle miles on them, and
Right.
that runs up
Right.
the mileage on them. Yeah.
Right.
But that's for patrol vehicles.
Yeah, no, I get it. Obviously, they're out there running all the time.
Mhm.
Sitting there. Yeah. All right. And while we're talking about cars, I'm just going to ask you while you're here, just the detectives with the take-home cars, they don't all take them home, do they? Or just the guy on call?
The detectives take their cars home, and it's what we call a driveway to driveway car. So they can drive it home, park it in their driveway, and then it's available in the event that they're called out. They can go directly from their home to the scene with their equipment rather than having to go back to the station and get their cars and then go back out again. The other thing is we don't pay them to be on call. And so this is just kind of a give or take that they answer their phone on the weekends and will come out in the middle of the night, that kind of thing. So these are not used cars. They can't use them on their off-duty time. It's only used to and from work.
Get back to the PD, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm just curious. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Drew.
You got it. Anytime.
Yeah. And any other vehicle issues? No? Any things we need to know? Well, there's a lot of vehicle issues, but anything else we need to know? No, we're good. We're good with this, how we allocate
The
it?
other thing we got to think about, Mr. Mayor, a little bit is we've done pretty well over the years, but unfortunately, we have people on the road 24/7. And this year we've taken a couple hits with cars and crashes. We just talked about the K9 car responding to emergency call was in a crash. We had another car in a crash. And unfortunately, each time that happens, we only get a certain amount of money from insurance. That's not enough to pay for the whole car. So we're still left with somewhere in the area of $23,000 to replace each of those cars that we have to take out of the budget that we have to buy cars. And then the other problem is we then need to take all the equipment from the car that was in the crash and put it into a new vehicle. And that costs upwards of $15,000 or more if the car is older and the equipment doesn't fit in the newer car. So those two crash cars are really costing a lot of money to an account that never had that money budgeted. So that's going to be a little bit of a hit to us, and we're going to have to see how that pans out in the end, and we'll see, what we can afford and what we can't afford.
Yeah, I mean, we'll make that right. I mean, you can't, it's an accident, it's an accident, and certainly your line of work or everyday driving, but your line of work, it's a little bit different, and I mean, that's going to happen, right? We know that, Drew. So we'll make that right, obviously, with whatever we need to replace those two vehicles. So we get it, but yeah, no, I know it's tough. It's tough out there, as we see every day on the highway. All right, appreciate that, Drew.
The vehicle that was involved in the accident last week.
Yeah, nobody got hurt, right? The officer didn't get hurt.
The officer at a K9 did not get hurt.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
That vehicle's in 2019.
Oh, okay.
2020, Ford changed their interior body size. Interior body size.
Yeah.
And then they changed it again in 2023 at the end.
Okay.
So none of that equipment will fit into the replacement when the replacement comes. And that's going to be quite costly because that's a K9 unit. So it has a lot more. Those are specially built vehicles.
Right.
They not only have the K9 cages in there, they have what's called a watchdog system that watches the temperature in the vehicle, air conditioning on, sends an email to the officer if it's getting too hot or too cold in the vehicle. It has door pops on it. It has a lot of sophistication in that vehicle, and that's going to be a big hit when we get that far.
Well, again, it's, the line of work they're in, and, it's cost of doing business, unfortunately. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll fix what we have to fix for that, obviously, make it right for the officers to do their job with the right equipment, as that's always our first priority, to make sure they're safe and the town's safe. So, yeah, we'll make that right. So, all right, appreciate that.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks. All right, where are we at now? Motions? We're at motions.
Move to call a town meeting on January 6th, 2026.
It's ready.
6:45 to approve a fiscal year 27 non-budgeted appropriation of $4,029,420 from the BHS Construction Fund. 2, fire radio upgrades, $85,000. Police vehicles, $210,000. I'm sorry, $85,600.
Short of 600.
Oh, man.
Charlie.
No FM. Police vehicles, 210,000. School vans, 200,000. UTVs with beds times 2, $116,820. Skid steer, 42,000. East Berlin recreational complex renovations, $1 million.
900,000.
Change to 900? Okay.
Yeah, that's changing that.
900,000. Griswold HVAC, $1,030,000. Berlin High School moisture remediation project, 900,000. Boilers, 245,000. And meeting house renovations, 200,000.
Yeah, boilers, would you, 340.
45,000.
40. And the meeting house was the 200. Yeah, okay. All right. You can second that motion. Yes. Folks, any other questions up here? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved. That's item number 5, right? And then we got for 6 here. That's it. Yeah, 6 was the yes, yes. So we want to get to 6, folks. We know you love watching us. This is so exciting. We know you're excited to be here. But yeah, we'll get to that now. So what do we have, Charlie, on that motion? Oh, we got 2 motions there, right?
You ready for that already?
Yeah, I think we're ready. Are we ready? We haven't.
I think so. Go ahead.
All right, we've heard it. We've heard enough. Okay.
Move to approve a transfer of $150,000 from the police vehicle extra duty fund to police vehicles account and capital non-reoccurring fund pending approval by the Board of Finance.
Second on that. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. And second motion.
Move to approve a transfer of $450,762 from the fiscal year 27 issue of 2025 accounts to Nelson August Moore Homestead Grant account, $255,000, the fire truck account, $65,000, the Veterans Memorial Park account, $30,762, and the generator account, $100,000, effective April 1st, 2026, pending approval by the Board of Finance.
Second. Thank you, Donna. Any other comments or questions on this? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's so moved. All right. All right, folks. There we go. The long way. I'm sorry it took so long. Sorry. I'm good. I'm glad. Thank you, folks. Oh, come on. Stay to the end now. What the heck? No, it's all right. Go ahead. Yeah, Charlie.
You put this item as not the last one.
We got 20 minutes. We can rip through this.
Oh, yes, you're welcome.
We
Yeah,
got 20 minutes, boss. Let's rip through this.
let's do it. Let's do it. All right, where we at? We good? Kevin ran out. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he ran out of here. He was out. Yeah, no, he did a great job. It was all good. Yeah, it was all good. It's all good.
That's tough.
Oh my God, yeah.
Would have fallen asleep several times.
Yeah. That's why I just kind of try to add a little, like, that's why I kind of wanted to add just a little bit of like, because he's more technical side, just like, hey, here's what we're talking about. Because people don't, they don't know. They don't know. They don't hear it.
Jim's up again.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where are we at now?
Number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah. Jim again.
Come on, Jim.
Oh, he's got 3 in a row.
Mr. Simon.
Hot seat, Jim. More questions. No more questions. Yes, we're hopeful. Yeah, we're hopeful. We could all get out of here.
7 should be easy, hopefully.
We'll see.
You never know. You never know, Jim, what you're gonna get, right?
This is Yeah, you.
Yes, sir.
Jim.
Okay, so this is the calendar year 2026 contract for 78,500 gallons of gasoline. We went with the CROG bid again. Set out. CROG came back with their tabulations on the 11th. Actually, it was on the 12th. I looked them over, and we have one vendor that we currently use that they had identified as our low vendor, and that's East River Energy. And they identified that as a low vendor on, we pay for administration fees and trucking, not the gas, option A. I like to lock in, that's option B. So East River Energy was 0.0002 off of the other vendor. And the other vendor was Tuxasaurus up there.
No.
I would like to stay with East River Energy.
Because we've been using them, right? Yeah, correct.
How long have you been using East River Energy, Jim?
Probably over 10 years.
Okay.
We did have a break in there where we went with Tuxasaurus for 1 year, one contract. There was some issues, minor issues with that, but there were inconveniences, and I would like to go back to or stay with Tuxasaurus or
Okay.
East River Energy. And by doing with East River Energy, we bring the tankers in, both gas and diesel. You know, there's a lot of other little things that go along with that.
Okay.
And the difference out of the $169,000 contract comes out to $157. So it's not really.
How much is gas, Jim?
You will be paying $2.15 a gallon.
Yeah, nice.
And that's what a lock in.
Your current, and the lock-in may fluctuate because that goes up and down with the market. But that was as of the other day, $2.50.
And what about the diesel?
The diesel, we go to bid in June, and that starts in July.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, we're currently paying $2.41. So it's
Wow.
26 cents different.
Interesting.
It comes out to just over $20,000 savings on the gas.
Great. Okay, questions? Motion? Ready on the motions? What do we got?
The way the motion's worded, is it good to select who you want to select? That's.
I would say, but I would refer to corporate counsel.
Are they number 783?
That's the bid.
That's the bid number.
To the selected bidder, Jeff, if we don't want to necessarily use the low bidder here, so I don't know if the wording modified.
Well, the selected bidder is fine.
Okay.
As long as his record indicates who the selected bidder is.
Read the motion as is.
Yeah.
Move to authorize awarding the 2026 gasoline contract as bid number 783 by Capital Region Council of Governments to the selected bidder for 78,500 gallons of gasoline.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or so moved? 8. Lucky number 8, come on.
Lucky number 8.
Yes.
Is replacing the first totaled vehicle.
Oh, boy.
Totaled vehicle on Berlin Turnpike.
Yeah,
It was August 10th or 11th, but I'm not sure that date.
yeah.
By the time we got through the process of the insurance and then stripping out the car and making the car back to a normal car, getting a check from the insurance, here we are today. So the insurance company paid us they assessed the car at $24,621. We have a $2,000 deductible. They gave us a check for $22,621. So to make the car right and get a new police car, which is $44,000.
Of course.
A little bit of contingency in there, $47,000. We have to decide to take money from not only the insurance count, but then we're also gonna take some money from the police department to make our whole, as Drew was speaking before.
Mm.
And we are going to purchase a vehicle from Belgrade, the old MHQ in Middletown, Connecticut, along with Massachusetts. They hold a state contract on that. And that's what we need for a motion.
Is that going to be a brand new vehicle, Jim?
That'll be a brand new vehicle,
2025
26.
or 2026? Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's MHQ that somebody bought them?
Yes.
Oh.
Bought out.
Hmm.
Like every little place is being bought out.
Yeah.
by a corporation.
Yeah, all right. Hmm.
Driving prices up.
Of course,
Um,
of course. Yeah. Any other questions, folks? Go ahead and take a motion on this.
Move to award the purchase of one 2026 Ford Interceptor police utility from a government municipal of Shrewsbury, Mass, utilizing Connecticut DAS contract number 22PSX0133 for the amount not to exceed $47,019.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. All right, where are we at? Number 9?
Jim, do you want to?
More vehicles.
This is
All right, all right.
vehicles.
Last year you gave me some funds. We worked on, speccing them out, getting prices on them. So now we're ready to award contracts for 2026 vehicles.
Nice.
First one is a fire department truck that is going to replace the SUV that is hand-me-down from the police department.
Mm.
That is used as our, on-scene communication vehicle. It carries a whole bunch of equipment in there. It allows interoperability with other agencies, including agencies within town. Has 5 different radios on there, set tones off from there. Vehicle will have a monitor in there for our drone, so we can utilize our drone and see it on a monitor. Has a lot of equipment and subsidies. I think you took a look at it, Ed.
Yeah, yeah. The old one, that's the old one. Yeah, yeah.
The reason why we're replacing it is because go up underneath it,
Yeah.
the rockers and everything are gone.
They're all rusted out, yeah. Yeah, it looks,
So that's vehicle number 1.
yeah.
Vehicle number 2 is a tradesman van for facilities department.
Yeah.
And if you want to take a ride out, if you're leaving, there's a van sitting out in the parking lot there that will ultimately be replaced, but a tradesman will get a new van. Tradesmen are HVAC, plumbing, electrical. He'll get a new van that will be passed down, and that van out there will be the one that look at it. It's Swiss cheese.
Time to go?
Yeah.
Time to go, is it?
Time to
Yeah.
go.
No, no. They gotta go.
We put down the wrong product. Next one is water department truck. So we're replacing a pickup truck for the water department.
Mm.
And we're replacing it, in the next few years, we're gonna replace all their vehicles, and not all their vehicles, they're older vehicles, and they'll all be utility vehicles. And the utility truck for that type of operation is much better suited.
Mm.
As compartmentations, some of the equipment inside, right? It allows them to, instead of running back and forth, they'll have all their equipment with them when they're out on the road. That's the last of them.
Okay. Questions, folks? Okay, we will go ahead and take a motion on this.
Move to approve the purchase of the following 3 vehicles from Tasker Ford as detailed in the summary in accordance with Connecticut DAS contract number 24PSX0110 for a total amount not to exceed $162,665. Fire department vehicle, $50,400. Facilities tradesman van, $47,225. Water department utility truck, $65,040.
Thank you, Donna. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, same to you.
Thank you, Jim.
Good holiday. Okay.
All right, we're moving along here.
Number 10. Look,
Agenda item number 10. And so this is an item that came up recently where we heard some feedback from Berlin residents, particularly our seniors at the senior center. The bathrooms at the senior center were not ideal for seniors. Apparently the toilets were too low. And so a request was made to make the bathroom more ADA accessible, that which would be a benefit to to all of our seniors and users of the Berlin Senior Center. And so as we've upgraded, as Doug will tell you, we've done the roof, we've done all sorts of, we put a generator over there, right? And so having the bathrooms upgraded would go a long way, I think, for our residents. And I do see our senior center director online as well. So thank you to Tina for pointing this out, and I'll turn it over to Doug.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilors.
Hey, Doug.
As Ryan said, and Tina's on too, also that building was done over in 85 through a grant, converted from a school. A lot of renovations, remodeling currently, partitions, painting. When it was done out, built out, there's currently an ADA stall in each male and female. This would be to enhance it further for the additional stalls. Do meet the code criteria, but this would give us the max height for all the fixtures. The seats weren't going to be optimal. There's a way to kind of feed it with high-rise seats, but the seniors would prefer to have fixtures at the highest heights possible within the code.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to do that with our on-call contractors.
Right. That's good. I mean,
Open up the walls, and it's a substantial scope.
right.
Walls, raise the carriers, everything that's in there, all the plumbing. So it's a little bit of impact to the.
Yeah. I mean, I heard it at the Commission on the Aging meeting is where it came up to my attention, but these toilets have been that way for a long time, the height being wrong for them,
Not really wrong, but we meet the minimum ADA
the
requirement.
minimum ADA, but according to the lady, I forget who brought it up on the Commission on the Aging, but they've been complaining for a long time. I'm just curious what took so long? If they were, and I'm not, not your fault or anybody's fault, but I mean, it seems like this is something that is not overly, expensive to accommodate our seniors, certainly at the senior center. I wonder why we didn't do this sooner with the rest of I know what we had was compliant, but.
Sure, understood. Yeah, now we have the opportunity with the funding and.
Yeah.
The delay was.
Because what's the total funding? What?
$24,200.
$24,000, and I just would hope in the future if a project like this that will enhance their, the operation of the senior center and the comfort and of our seniors for what I don't consider a lot of money, honestly, in the grand scheme of $100-something million budget, we would make sure we get stuff done sooner for something like this. This is a comfort issue. This is
But if we don't know about it, we can't fix it.
well, that's the problem. Somebody knew about it. Staff knew about it. Somebody knew about it. The lady at the Commission on the Aging said they've been complaining about it for years. I think she said, I can't remember exactly what she said, but it definitely was looked at and just, I guess.
It was brought up, certainly with respect to Tina and the people that see her, that they did bring it forward for.
Yeah.
You do enhancements.
Yeah.
Our operator doors were open. It was more of a phased improvement.
Yeah.
Knowing that this was going to be the biggest impact.
Yeah.
Shutting down and the highest cost. Everything was done up to this point to try to accommodate. This would be the icing on the cake per se. So
Yeah.
certainly with respect to it's nothing we tried to intentionally defer, but moving forward, knowing that if there's concerns raised, we want to try to.
Yeah.
Make them as quick as possible.
Yeah, you got to bring it forward because I mean, like I say, I get funding sometimes. If it's $100 million project or 100,000, that's but 24,000 to do something like this, you gotta, at least ask. Somebody's got to at least ask. Right, we don't know about it, and I was disturbed to hear that. I felt really bad to hear that because it's not a lot of money, honestly, in the grand scheme of things for our seniors. So that's just please bring it forward. And I'm sure most of the time with something like this, we would of course accommodate the folks. So anyway, appreciate it. Thank you. So any other questions?
Doug, one question here. Is this the only company you quoted?
Correct. These are on-call contractors, specialize in this work. So we went to them based on the kind of the magnitude scope, knowing that we can go right to them. The reason this is before you tonight, typically the on-call intent, spirit behind the on-call is for these little projects, but because of some previously approved projects that we had earlier in the fiscal year, renovations at the Willard restrooms, the VNA reconfiguration, we went to those contractors also just save cost and bidding and time. Threshold request.
Okay, thank you. I'm okay with that then. Thank you.
Typically, on a bigger scale, we would go out. Smaller scale, and as the on-call would just move on it, about plans and specs and bidding.
You knew I was going, you knew I was going to ask that question, didn't you? Yeah, okay.
Get ready for item 11 too.
If they hadn't exceeded the limit, they wouldn't have come.
I understand that, but that was my question, Charlie. And I'll
good question.
continue to, I will continue to ask those
Oh, good
questions
question. Thank
throughout the next 2 years.
Okay.
You know, in light of the school parking fee, maybe there's a fee we need to charge for the, oh, never mind, I won't go there with the fee for the toilets. I
Say a
could.
buck a flush, come on.
He was with that.
Yeah, that's,
I saw a sign earlier, it's only 5 cents, so I don't know.
all right, any other questions? We good for the motion? Go ahead, Charlie.
Move to approve quotes provided by current on-call contractors, MA&M Incorporated DBA, Resco Construction Company of Middletown, Connecticut, in the amount of $11,800. Central Mechanical Services of Cromwell, Connecticut, in the amount of $12,400 for ADA restroom modifications at the Berlin Senior Center.
A second. Thank you, Donna. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Doug. We got more, Doug?
More.
One more. All right, one more.
This is
Thanks for getting this done.
Berlin Kitchen Floor. Doug, do you want to just take it?
Sure, yes, this was brought up, our beautiful golf course, the kitchen, so the floor's been kind of fatiguing a little bit over.
I bet, yeah.
Tear with the beer kegs and the volume.
20 years old, right?
And it was brought forward by the health department most recently on inspection.
Yeah.
The tile starting to delaminate, chip. We looked at spot repairs, we got quotes on it. We actually have a new oven scheduled to go in this winter during.
Oh, nice.
Great opportunity while the kitchen's kind of open to redo the entire floor. Did reach out, get 3 quotes, some state contract quotes on the bigger firms. Unfortunately, this type of work, we're having a tough time finding vendors we used to work with that don't specialize in this style work anymore. But we're able to find, again, our call contractor who just did Willard School very successfully. They did come in at the lowest quote. The town manager saw the 3 quotes we did. So again, typically, if it wasn't for the other projects, we would have just done this off the on-call, below the threshold. But because we've exceeded that previously with all the wonderful things that have happened, all the money that's been allocated, we creeped up past the limit. So.
Right, that sounds good. Questions, folks?
I'm good on that, Doug.
Yeah, the hell.
Good food up there.
Yeah, kind of fix the floor. Yeah, we don't
You
want,
explained it very well.
we don't want the tile floor in the kitchen.
Are gonna do this while they're closed down for the winter?
Correct. Yeah, he'll be shut
Oh,
down.
nice.
Holidays. He's taking off, going home for a few weeks. Well deserved.
Oh, nice.
Gives us about a 6-week window to go.
Great.
Up and do some painting.
You know, the new walls that they have.
Good.
Stuff that's been done there to keep you up to date in terms of.
Honestly, yeah, there was a walk-in cooler added a few years ago. The FRP on the walls, the code. Every winter we try to do something up there. Floors, paint, modeling.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta keep it up.
We're actually creeping up on about 10 years since the last major renovation when we had the issue with the roof and the snow. That kind of the catalyst to the where we are today with the bar and the dining room and everything else. So it's coming quick.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? We're good?
Move to approve quote letter from current on-call contractor MA&M Incorporated DBA Resco Construction Company of Middletown, Connecticut, in the amount of $13,920, which includes a 20% contingency for quarry tile replacement and associated work within the Timberland Clubhouse kitchen area.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much. Just
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Doug.
quick update on the meeting house.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have something forthcoming pretty soon. We have met with a restoration contractor who is on state contract, who's working with the architect that's done everything to date on the meeting house with the Historical Society, Friends of Worthington Meeting House, latest fly-through video. So putting together a little spec, so we'll have some pretty accurate pricing for you, and we hope to be favorably below what was just allocated. So
yeah,
hopefully turn back a little bit for that, but something that they're putting in place, we could be ready to go in the spring.
Yeah, and they're gonna, like, I mean, obviously from looking at that meeting house up close at their anniversary there, I mean, they're gonna fix, I mean, you can't just paint over that.
Correct. There was
They gotta do some fixing there. It's really, It's not gonna work.
Something in question about what was done about 5 years ago during the last grant work.
Oh, okay.
Construction, stored, perhaps not the right paint or prep that was done, so
Okay.
this group knows that's what they specialize in, restoration.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
the timing and the right paint, and then any carpentry restoration for
Okay.
wood and siding. So
Right.
Be more of a comprehensive, inclusive quote. Hopefully that 200 will more than cover.
Yeah, good. Oh, great, thanks. That's good. That should look nice for our, and they could do that, spring, they could.
Yeah, they can.
Before the
utilize it in
big,
spring.
whatever, we got going with Kate. Kate's got all kind of celebrations planned and, all kind of fun stuff.
So yeah, thank you. Merry Christmas, happy
Yeah,
holidays.
same to you,
You
Doug.
too.
Yeah, Doug, just one last thing. Nice job on the upgrade to the Little People's Playground, the additional work that was done over there.
That was Mr. Wood. You're talking about the park?
Yeah, that was him. Well, thought it was you. Well,
We're hoping that your support, the building would be next, so
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it was very nice because I've been up there. So,
do a wonderful job.
yep.
Nice stuff.
Mayor, just so you're aware, and council, Tina was going to respond,
Oh.
about the issue at, senior center, but her mic's not working.
Oh,
So-
I'm sorry, yeah.
I don't, I, that's pretty much what she said.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought it was more. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I felt, honestly, I felt bad when I heard it, when I heard it at the lady on the, Commission on the Aging bringing that up, so it's glad we're getting it done. So,
Right.
all right, yes.
Oh, move on to agenda item 12. This is a request from the Registrar of Voters. So as you may recall, we had our early voting again, which is, I would say it's an unfunded mandate from the state each year. However, the state actually did give municipalities some funding in the form of grant funding this year. This is the second year of early voting, and to the state's credit, they have given funding last year and this year. The town of Berlin received $12,086 for to be spent for early voting. Now, as of right now, there are $4,998 remaining in that grant funding. The registrars have requested to take that remaining funds and divide it in half and give it to themselves. They did come to me before early voting and ask if they could take off their registrar hat and put on a moderator hat during the election and get paid for that, which I did agree to, and we did pay them for their time spent serving as moderators. They alternated each day as moderator because the theory was if one of them was serving in a capacity other than a registrar, somebody had to be a registrar. So they took turns and moderate and served as moderator each day of early voting, and we paid them at the moderator rate for that time, which is $20 an hour.
So they were paid to do those separate jobs.
Those separate tasks in addition to their salary as a registrar.
Gotcha.
And so this would be an additional request. However, we don't have, there's not hours for this. They did submit a request because in addition to working as a moderator, when the other person wasn't working as a moderator, they were serving as an election worker. However, what I said earlier was if one person was moderator and the other person was an election worker, nobody was a registrar. And so I didn't agree to that at the start. I said somebody needed to be a registrar during early voting. And so we would pay one person a day and then as a moderator, and then the other person would be a registrar, which is a salaried funded position. And so that's what I agreed to ahead of time. And so when the request did come, there were hours for an election worker that I did deny. And that was one of the registrars worked 43 hours and the other one worked 56 hours in an election worker role. However, other than moderator, and they were not paid for that because I considered that to fall under their duties as a registrar. They're a salaried employee. And so you have our town clerk, for instance, worked 72 hours extra during early voting and didn't get any additional compensation for that because their town clerk, like every administrative role here in the town of Berlin, is a salaried position. And so the request is to take grant funding and give it to the registrars, but there's no real timesheet to do that. So that's why I am not recommending that. I think that I don't know if we could do it, the grant. I don't know if you can't, it's a difficult thing to do.
I don't think that you can compare what our town clerk salary is compared to, she's a full-time employee. She is a salaried employee. She has benefits here, okay? I don't know how you can compare that to what the registrar's office is doing. It's two different animals in my opinion. They get stipends. They're not on the payroll, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they are, I'm sorry, but
Just hear me out for a second. So, if these ladies are switching hats to accommodate our town to do what needs to get done for this early voting, which is an unfunded mandate, quite honestly. And there is grant monies that are available, hours that have been kept for work done, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's hours that have been, then I don't see what the issue is paying them.
I mean, it's up to you. I think I don't see, so the registrars are paid a salary for 20 hours a week. That's what they're compensated on, and they make $43,000 a year.
Salary. Say it's a salary, but isn't it a stipend? I mean, we went back and forth with salary versus stipend over the past 2 years with our registrars, have we not?
Well, stipends, we gave them stipends in addition to the salary, on top of it, yeah. That is their salary.
Single week for a 52-week period.
Yeah, they get compensated for 20 hours a week. So the registrars, because they're elected officials, they get paid no matter what. No, whether the job is, and I speak as a former elected official, like you could.
Keep a certain amount of hours.
No, there's no hours kept.
So
No need. You don't. You elected official will get paid no matter what because they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree to that.
Not in this capacity, no. No.
Doing the right thing. They put a lot of hours in.
No doubt.
Okay. And some days or some weeks it might be minimal, and there's other weeks where clearly they're putting in a lot more time, than the required or than the 20 hours that we're paying them for. I certainly think that we should be keeping, or somebody should be keeping, how many hours that they are being compensated for. In other words, if they're working 60 hours a week, we should know that they're working 60 hours a week.
Like during the early voting. But see, go, what?
You'd have to, it's a grant that's intended to cover additional municipal expenses in conjunction with early voting. It's a grant to the town for the town's expenses that are added from early voting, right? That's what it is. So just like you would with any grant, you'd want it to survive an audit. So you'd want to have appropriate documentation. If you're going to compensate folks for that additional time, it has to A, be additional, and B, be documented.
Pulling out the grant at the end of the year, you're putting in a final on it, you should be able to, like you said, the extra hours that were involved on top of what it would be without this relief. So are we in a position to do that type of a final report?
Not with this request, no. So the hours that I have that that each registrar worked that they have not been compensated for, again, because they're salaried employees. And I would consider that if they are both working in a capacity other than registrar, then the town didn't have a registrar, which is a very tricky thing to do, which is why I allowed one of them to serve in a capacity other than registrar, to get paid in a capacity other than registrar. But they do have, between the two of them, 100 hours that they worked as an election worker. The rate of an election worker is $17 an hour. If you were to divide what they're requesting by the number of hours that we could actually track, they're requesting somewhere around $45 an hour to be paid, when that's not the rate of an election worker. So we have no documentation to prove this. It would not survive an audit.
Well, how did we get ourselves in this situation? I'm sorry, but if you work, you should get paid for it. If you work extra hours, you should be compensated for that as well.
But I don't understand though. Oh, go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead.
So if a person steps into a different role and they're compensated for that role, is that time deducted from the, if they're working 20 hours a week and they worked 10 hours at another job, do they lose the 10 hours pay in their original job? Can't be in two places at
No,
once.
you don't.
No, they don't.
You
So
don't.
they're getting, that's
That's my
where you want to watch out for double dipping. And that's what I'm trying to explain, is that you get,
Should we have hired somebody else to do what they had to do?
well, what happened was they came and they said that the moderator position was, because of the use of computers for the moderator position, they requested themselves to work because they knew the computers, which made sense, and I agreed to. But I said, and I have it in writing right here, I said, to clarify, only one registrar would be working per day during early voting as a poll worker, and you both would alternate as moderator for same-day registration. That was the agreement, which was, yes, that is correct. But then when they submitted the payroll, they submitted for election workers too, and then they submitted an entirely new request for $2,000 each, for I don't know what. That's so I think everything's been compensated fairly. I really do. I can show you everything that I've.
Ladies are here, and I know they probably didn't sign up. Can we hear?
Absolutely, yeah, they can.
Yeah, sure.
Just so that I can wrap my head around this.
Well, I agree. Ryan, real quick for you. So in other words, when they were, and I know you said this because, we've been going back and forth here. So when they're a moderator, they still get their salary for a registrar plus the moderator. Okay. And then the other one would just be paid as a registrar. I mean, as a registrar.
So this is the email thread. You can see that it was agreed to.
I'll see this. And I'll pass it down.
But they didn't have anybody trained on the computer.
Well, we went through this last year, so there's nowhere that it says the register has to work all 70 hours of early voting. Right? So we put in our 70 hours a week for the early voting period with the intent that a register doesn't have to work all 70 hours. So when we're not here, instead of taking vacation time and not being here and alternating, which we can do, other registers go to their kids' baseball games, do things, and they're not at the hall the whole time of early voting. We stay here to make sure things run smooth, and we put in the time and we work it, and we documented all our time last year, and we worked it again this year, and we don't qualify for time and a half like our other workers that we're paying. So they're actually probably making more than us because the IRS rule that changed, their election workers, as they work over 40 hours, they're also to get compensated for time and a half, which our town isn't even recognizing the hours that we've worked above and beyond what is even required, and there's nowhere in writing that we have to work every hour as a registrar. So that's the.
But yeah, go ahead. Yeah. No, go ahead, Joe.
Because the
No.
hour's getting late.
Yeah, that's right.
I understand the email thread, and yes, I understand the original agreement. Our problem is that we had points within the early voting period that workers were unable to complete their shifts. And it was one of these things where I've got a grandkid's birthday party, I've got a baseball game, I've got a family dinner, And
So you had people that were supposed to just that at the last minute, couldn't do it, pulled out.
One day you're voting, it happens, when you're scheduling people.
so what would happen is that if we can't get people to actually come in and cover what's going on, we just elected to go ahead and fulfill a position because somebody's got to be there
But you got paid for that, right?
as a registrar.
No, I thought when you were acting,
It's different. Monterey's completely different.
but whatever,
Kit to fill in
Right.
for somebody who could not come in, did not come in, or was out sick or whatever. I don't want people sick.
but I thought you just said for the extra, when you were, one of you was an election worker, one of you was the registrar. The election worker got paid extra, right? You got paid,
The moderator.
the moderator got paid extra,
So-
not the election worker, I'm sorry.
It's confusing
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
so what we
Right.
agreed to, as they said, was the moderator position. However, in my emails, as you can say, I asked the registrars for a detailed schedule on who is working what day, because I wanted to verify ahead of time in case of these call outs. We have no schedule. We have no way to prove anybody called out. All we have is every single day the registrar's worked as an election worker. So based on that, somebody would have had to call out every single day of early voting, which is what you're saying here.
No, back in September when we met with you, we also received a new handbook from the state, and it said a moderator can act as an election worker. As soon as you send us a moderator, I can act as an election worker in the handbook for the September edition. Then you also had our schedule that we're actively working on, that we brought and showed you in our office on that board, and we were trying to fill those positions, and our names were not on the board to work those shifts. So we're waiting for callbacks as well. It was our intent that if we couldn't get somebody, because they have to be trained on the CVRS to be a moderator, and we went to Kate, and Kate had, can use registers or town clerks, as long as it doesn't interfere with their jobs. So that's why there's nowhere in writing that you have to be a register for the whole time of early voting, and you can do other jobs.
That's absolutely, so I guess the bottom line is the town manager made an agreement with the registrars on what the hours that they would be paid to work. Without talking to the town manager at all, who was there every day during early voting, they decided to increase their own hours, would not inform the town manager, and then requested payment for those hours. I then denied that because we had agreed on the moderator. If the town council wants, you could pay each one 43.45 hours at a rate of $17 an hour, which is what an election worker would have been paid, which would be $738.65.
Time and a half.
And it would be 56 hours, 56.75 for the other one, for a total of $964.75. Again, if you were to pay, with respect to our town clerk, who did work 72.25 hours all day on a Saturday, all day on a Sunday, and did get zero, and is requesting zero for doing that.
She managed.
I think you should compare the two. I don't think that's fair.
But the problem with that is this is a lot simpler than you guys are making it. You've got a grant, and that grant is directly allocated to the town to spend on additional costs associated with early voting. So if the registrars had to jump over into the election role to assist with early voting, and the town clerk likewise had additional time that was tracked for early voting, they should be treated the same, because it's all work that's solely attributable, exclusively attributable to early voting. So why wouldn't you treat them the same?
That she's a salaried associate. I know you're telling me that they're.
So are they.
salaried too, but
They're
it's not
salaried too.
9 to 5, and maybe that's why I have an issue with this. It's not a 9 to 5 salaried position. A 40-hour work week salaried position, I guess it's.
But it's not part of her job description.
Zach?
It's an unfunded mandate that became funded through a grant. So why wouldn't you treat all three of them the same? That's my view.
That should, I don't, something needs to be done differently, because I don't feel that we should have either hired somebody else to do the work that that they did,
Yeah.
okay? In retrospect, I mean, when you think about it, we
Yeah.
could have hired other people and paid them accordingly if we didn't want, or we didn't want to have to compensate them for anything over and above the 20 hours that they are paid for on a weekly basis over the course of a 52 week year, any annual salary, if that's what we're calling it. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
It wasn't handled properly. So now we're not talking about Puco bucks here, but I don't think this will fly if somebody takes a look at it in terms of the grant, because they're, if you put it under migrant, they're gonna say, well, what's this for? How does this equate and how are we paying for them? And girls, you probably should have addressed it differently. He's got the email.
Oh, yeah, I know, we were aware of
I
the.
think that everybody needs to take a little bit of this on their shoulders. I don't know how to handle
We
it.
asked for more money in our salary originally, saying it's not gonna cover all the added hours. They don't give us what we asked for. This is supposed to be worded, I called the state on this, they said it could be referred to as a stipend if you're already paid workers, and you work the early voting. So I think we could ask Kevin or whoever, about how to handle the grant, if it's audited and stuff like that. But when I called the state last week, they said to refer to it as a stipend. Because I told them we were coming to town council, I explained the situation, and that was the answer I had gotten, that it would be referred to as a stipend. If we're already compensated as registered, but we could double check that. And clearly, it's the same thing, as long as early voting is still in play, we're gonna have the same problem. Next year, there might not be grant money. This year, there was grant money. We didn't know we were getting grant money this year. And we did work the whole election last year and this year. Unless you don't want us here working, I guess, we keep trying to talk about this. We did keep track of our hours last year. We did show a whole report of how to compensate us based on all this.
Yeah.
So we did keep track.
But we don't have track for this year, right?
No. But if the hour, but
We have the hour sheet, right?
Yeah.
And would we have had to hire an election worker at that rate for those hours?
You would have had to hire an election worker for $17 an hour for that, for 100 hours, which comes out to, what is it, like $1,700. But you would have also,
You would have also.
well, no,
you would have also had time.
we have
yeah.
plenty of,
$15 an hour.
we hire plenty of them.
There's a lot of people out there that's willing to come on for that short period of time.
Our own town clerk worked for $17 an hour and came in on a Saturday.
Well, there was one day.
yeah, right. Yeah, we're free.
I'm saying that's the least the town would have had to pay out to cover those hours. They saved the town, or they produced at least that much value for the town. Am I correct?
Well, the registrars were compensated for the role of moderator, like was agreed
Right.
to. And then the role of election worker, yes, if, as of right now, I consider that to fall under their normal salaried 20 hours.
You think that's already covered?
I think that, to be honest, the hourly rate is something about the registrars are compensated at a rate of $43 an hour. $43 an hour for 20 hours of work a week.
Okay.
And now some weeks, there's barely any work, because some weeks we don't have elections and you just have to update the voting list and there's minimal work. Other weeks we have early voting, we have an election, and it's all hands on deck and you end up having to work a lot. It's no different than the town clerk having to handle absentee ballots during an election, or having, there's certain time periods. For me, it's the budget season. We just, certain positions just get busy.
But you're gonna return the grant money to the state if you don't pay us for that? Because that's what you're doing. You're foregoing this because it's only for early voting.
So
Yeah,
actually, I talked to Kevin and we bought you both brand new laptops for early voting.
No, we didn't
The
use them for early
problem-
voting.
That they were ordered for early voting and can be reimbursed through the grant. We checked on it. We ordered it for early voting and can get reimbursed.
Hours last year, this year, for all this early voting, we submitted for salary, we submitted like this, and we do keep track of our hours in the past, and we've always worked above and beyond the 20 hours a week, every time we kept track and submitted. I said, this year,
But you got, now, but last year,
I have,
yeah.
yeah.
So I get it, the salary, so we didn't have to keep revisiting.
We have to
the
keep doing this
situation
every
when
year.
that- this too.
See, I think I said this to you guys. This is like just philosophically for me, just personally from my past career. They paid me as a DEA agent to work, 40 hours a week. I far surpassed that on any given week, month, whatever we were doing. And I didn't get extra, I got a little bit of overtime, but well and above whatever they paid me. And that was just because that's the job I had. And I knew some nights it's 24 hours in a row, 48 hours in a row. I'm not getting paid for that over a certain amount of hours.
Our department, they started, this department. you
Whoa,
should
whoa,
be
whoa.
paid.
Who got benefits? Registrar?
And
Yeah, but they part-time though, right? Yeah, but we ended that, right? Years ago.
got as a part-time exempt employee, like for the hours.
That's how it's always been now,
I've
right?
been arguing it since I've gotten here, and that's why I kept keep
Yeah.
visiting and asking.
But I
about
mean,
the salary.
but we had this discussion, so, you talk about vacation time and all that. So in February, I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm guessing, you could show me, there's not a lot to do. And I told both of you that, right? I have said this to you guys. That's the time that you're probably not working 20 hours a week, or I don't know what.
And the state has.
I get you have other duties, but are both of you, I think we had this discussion before. Maybe you need to be at town hall for those 20 hours a week to kind of show that you're working. If you want to be treated like a full-time employee, you got to, I guess, be here at town hall and work like I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me because you're not, I'm sorry, I don't believe you're busy every single day of the year. No, I know. I mean, it's a discussion, but it's a set.
Other weeks, we had a 2-hour week that averaged out, we kept track of the whole entire time. My very
I had
first
the
year
whole
here,
year.
I worked 20 hours plus because I went for my certification and worked the elections on top of the 20-hour work week that I did with Betty's schedule. So even at the very first year and last year, I worked over the 20 hours a week.
You worked an average of 29 hours a
Last
week.
year,
Last year.
in the highest year with all the presidential move, the.
Well, it was
primary
different, right?
Yeah, but
It was different, right?
no, that's changing.
Right. Well, they could make it, they could go down to a week, right? Yeah, whatever they're gonna do. They'll probably go to a month, but, right, but I mean, there's time during the year that
You had asked for how many hours?
and wait, but you guys also said, I remember last year specifically, I gotta say this, you both said, yeah, we both gotta be there the whole time as registrars. Now you don't have to be there the whole time as registrars. Because you did say that last year.
We don't have to be,
Yeah.
it's not in writing anywhere that we have.
Well, then why don't you go take a break and go home for a while?
If anything Leo happens, it falls back on the two of us.
But if the Secretary of State lets, well, whatever, listen, you work under the rules of the Secretary of State, right? Not us, but, no, but I mean,
I
you got to take a break, you go take a break,
understand what you're saying.
right?
I think you've made your decision.
Common sense.
I'm just gonna wish everyone.
No, I don't think we've made it yet. We haven't even, not everyone's spoken, but we have to figure it out better than this. Yeah, somehow.
This won't pass an audit like this.
That's what we're worried about. We don't want to have,
Exactly.
It won't, because when you
Right.
get the final report on the grant, it will just blow up. So it'll.
we can't, we don't want to do
I'm
that.
not saying let's not.
That won't look good for anybody, right?
But certainly you need to be compensated based off of the way that you have your salary and then your additional hours.
But other towns, everybody, I mean, the registrars are the same everywhere, right? In every town?
They pay
Right,
themselves,
but,
calling in stipends for the grant money. He's had enough.
and we gave you a stipend last year, right?
They
And
had
this year,
And this year.
You were paid through the grant money for your work as moderators.
So I understand.
okay, so you got that extra money? How much was that extra?
That's, you would have that, document.
I have that document.
That would survive.
An audit,
That would,
right?
I have that.
So that's audit.
So
You're good.
the registrars were paid $1,421 extra for working as a moderator and $1,020 extra. That was the
Okay.
split.
Okay.
Working for their work as a moderator.
Each did a different day or something, whatever you did.
surplus on the grant that we didn't utilize.
Yes.
We placate.
We could, so that you could, and that is a possibility that I would just want to check with Jeff, but you could, we do have documentation of 43.45 hours for one registrar and 56.75 hours for the other registrar working as an election worker, which we compensate at $17 an hour. So you could pay one $738.65, and you could pay the other $964.75. But I would insist that you also pay our town clerk for those 72.25 hours, which is $1,228.25.
Oh, so that'd be your electoral worker and your pay then as an election worker, right? What you did, you both did that on different days? No, not for Kate, but but the hours that you worked as an election.
But she did 1 point, so we did some.
What?
They're referring to
Yeah.
is one afternoon I filled in for somebody who was not able to work. And I was paid for that afternoon as an election worker.
Okay.
right? So
At $17 an hour.
whatever. I really and truly don't know.
No.
So, but what Ryan is talking about, the other hours outside of that time that I was compensated for. So the thing is,
It just
that
drops up,
it's
Ryan.
very, very new. It's new for the registrars,
Sure.
new for the town
Sure.
clerks.
Yeah.
Last year was extremely busy, as we all know,
Mhm.
lines and the presidential.
What
What
is,
was,
how much stipends did we give them last year? 5 each? 5? Huh?
I didn't get a stipend. I don't.
No, not you, but
So
what?
if we, this'll fly to pay her, extra hours that she put in. See, and I know this is difficult, but.
Yeah, it's difficult.
When we're salaried, in my mind, my business world, and yeah, that was many moons ago, when you were a salaried employee and you worked 32 or more hours a week for that salary, irregardless of, and you've got healthcare, you got vacation, insurance benefits, whatever. That was it. No matter how, if you worked 20 hours over that on a particular week, and then
That's-
maybe another week you worked 20 hours less,
It's a salary.
get that pay, and that was the end of it. You wouldn't get anything else. They're kind of unique entities when you think about it, because there's not 1 week where they're working a 9 to 5 kind of job. They're salaried, but they're like part-time, so it's
Right,
almost,
they're part-time.
right?
They are part-time. Yeah, it is they're part-time. Hence no benefits, that's why. Yeah, right.
So it's hard to compare her, who worked an extra whatever, and I think she should be entitled to get compensated in some form for that. But it's hard not, for me to think, because they're, in my opinion, you're not full-time salaried employees. You get a salary, and your average is supposed to be 20 hours a week. And honestly, you probably need to be here 20 hours a week for an average of 29 hours. It's a weird situation.
Well, pay them the
I
extra.
see them as the same. The job of registrar requires, let's say, on average, 20 hours a week. As the mayor says, some weeks it can be a lot less. In the winter time when there's no elections, there really might not be a reason to
Take
register.
advantage of it.
And they could, so
Take advantage of it.
and I just did the math because I looked up what the total compensation for the registrars last year was, and based on the 29 hours a week that they worked, they were compensated at a rate of $36 an hour, over $36, even at the 29-hour a week, which included the special, the early voting, everything. 29, but 30, what did I just say?
36.
I mean, that's a good, I feel like that's a fair hourly rate for a registrar, and so that, I think the town has been, they've also gotten a 13% raise this year. The town has been very, very fair to the registrars, but I'm going to tell you this. I had town staff come into my office when they saw this agenda item and they said, not again. I can't believe that, this is happening again when we're salaried workers and we don't get, we can work 60 hours for if something hits the fan and they get compensated on 40 hours. And so.
People that are bitching, and moaning are probably getting full insurance benefits, vacation pay,
Yeah,
et cetera. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, there's
but-
town employees, but still,
you can't compare that to them.
Wait a minute. Donna. They made a deal. They took the job with no health benefits. They took the job to be the register of voters. And I don't know if it's 15 hours in the winter and 30 hours in election season. I don't know. But they took that job for the rate they agreed to. But they didn't take a job to be election workers, and they did the extra work. So my point is, I think paying them that rate for those extra hours would be
For
reasonable.
the election worker hours.
They
we
didn't
forget that.
sign up to be election workers.
Yeah.
That wasn't the original deal.
So,
Right, I'm saying.
The 17 hours.
yeah, let me say this. Are you all set, Charlie? Can I say something now? Why don't, let me say this right here, is that you just can't take what the balance of the grant and just split it in half. We just can't do that. If there's hours that were worked as election hours at the rate that Ryan had said, then they should be compensated for
that.
that
Yeah,
as
that's Agreed.
as the amount you had brought up for, both registers and Kate, and then be done with it. I mean, that's what you're gonna have to do. You just can't, yeah,
That's fair. No,
because
that's
you
good.
just can't divide a grant in half, and you're not gonna have any accountability for that money. It's not gonna fly through an
I
audit.
agree completely, but if they didn't step up and do that, we would have paid someone else.
Correct.
They did it. so
At
we might
that-
as well
at
pay
that-
them At that.
And
rate.
it's the hourly. Yeah.
At that particular rate, so, look at that, put something together, and bring it up at the next town council meeting, that each person is
We
gonna
had
be
it.
paid for this, and go from there.
if that's what you want, I'll just,
Done, it has to be done.
no, the town manager can do that.
Deadline on
December.
The grant so what I would do, and you can make but what I would do is I would pay one registrar for $738.65 because we can prove that. I would pay the other one $964.75 because we can prove that. And I would pay Kate $1,228.25 because we can prove that, which comes out to a total of $2,931.65. There's roughly $5,000 remaining in the grant, and we could also get reimbursed the $2,000 of computers that I told you, and there's the grant.
And you got paid too and you also got paid extra for the moderator jobs you did, right?
Correct.
I think that, no, I don't think that would come in. I mean, you guys, I don't know honestly.
What other, what?
You should get paid at you worked, no, because
You worked a different job.
Kate would get paid at $17 an hour, just like you. Because you
Should get the same rate. Yeah, what that job is, that makes sense. It's the same, right? Yeah,
When does this grant expire, Ryan?
yeah, we gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Let's,
Let's do it.
yeah,
Just
Yeah.
do it.
can we go ahead and modify the motion here?
Wait, like,
I know Ryan's not gonna be happy, but this is so new. We don't know what is going on with it. So if you want to pay the registrars for the election work of $17 an hour, that's fine. That's out of my, wheelhouse. I'm uncomfortable with taking the money, and I'm uncomfortable because
well, sure, it's
so a
fine.
lot of it is what was agreed to before Ryan was here, is that I got comp time. I took
Oh.
some time off.
Oh, all right. Well, that's
That's-
different.
Exactly.
Ever
Yeah.
take hour for hour.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan disagrees with me, and I understand where he's coming from, because next year, of course, is going to be another shit show. And then after that, we will probably have a new town clerk, which is one reason why I was
What?
trying to get this lined up. So whoever comes in
There you go.
for the next presidential election has an idea of what they're doing. All right? Now, and I know, I mean, the registers had no idea that, they would have to pay me. That's not what,
No, but if you
we
took
were trying hard to figure
Yeah, if you're
this
getting-
whole thing.
if you're getting-
That's different. You're right, Donna.
I
You're
cannot-
right.
Yeah.
So, and I couldn't take I can't take vacation half the time. So 72 hours off is not something that's gonna happen to me. And I do put in a lot of extra hours. You know I'm at council. You know that I did
course.
charter revision. You know I did affordable housing. You know Board of Ethics. So I do my time. And I don't ask for money on that. And I don't get a lot of comp time on that. This was the one thing that we thought that what we would do is I would get half of that hour. So 72 hours, I would take 32, 35. All right. And then this whole thing came up with the registers asking for more money. Ryan was trying to also protect me, which I understand and I appreciate. But there has to be some kind of decision made here.
Agreed.
Not necessarily tonight, but moving forward on how the registers are compensated, because it's not fair for them to keep coming back here. And then in turn, depending upon what happens, especially with no excuse absentee, which we know is coming down the line, that how the town clerk is compensated if something like this continues.
So,
Especially with early voting. So that's my spiel, and Merry Christmas.
so basically, let me say this then, so we don't keep going back and forth and back and forth. So since you took comp time, that's one thing. So we do have to address the compensation going forward, which is another thing we got to look at in the future. But for tonight,
I don't.
you said there's computers that need to be paid for, and then there's hours for both of the registers. So why don't we just modify because the grants got to be taken care of by the end of the year. So let's just
Do it now.
make the motion or revise the motion on this agenda item to pay the registrars as the, as a voting worker or
Election worker. right?
election worker
Yeah.
for the hours they put in.
For the
And we move forward on this, and we'll address how the salary is going to be at a later date. That could be a new agenda item coming up, but for tonight, let's just do that.
Sounds like a motion.
Well, I mean, to words to that effect, Mr. Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that's fair.
think-
Yes, you work that job, you get that money.
70-something hours that you.
I haven't even taken the 35 yet.
No, but.
Yeah.
Some time. I mean, listen.
I know. You're not gonna do it.
I-
Didn't. You get the same thing.
37.5 hour work week.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There were weeks that I worked 80 hours if I was doing an auction or whatever.
But I
okay?
think that's what Charlie was talking about, is
Yeah.
you chose that. I chose my job.
Right.
Exactly.
There's something to be said about as far as what you
It's-
said. You
Jeff, are you good with
That
that?
makes sense, Jeff?
Yeah, sure.
That's okay.
House nonprofit.
Yeah, right.
So,
Well-
so paying for the hour, right.
So
We all are,
you want to make?
yeah, you get
make a
paid for the
motion?
hours, those hours you
can
should
make
get
it.
paid, you worked in that job.
So why don't, Mr. Mayor,
Huh?
if you're okay with this here,
I think so. Makes sense.
and correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to devote the motion back to myself. I'll make a motion to pay each register for the hours they put in as an election worker, and also to pay for whatever supplies, the computers that were used for the election. And then we move forward from there.
We'll get it done.
Sure.
Get it done. And
And we do need to visit this.
Yeah,
What's
we'll
that?
revisit it.
We have to look at
We can
that at the
revisit it.
beginning of the year. I agree.
We can revisit it. Yeah. All right, we got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. All right, so you get that? What? No,
Really hope with the new budget going forward, that we don't have to do this, because this is kind of embarrassing. Not only for us, but for everyone involved.
Mm.
Have to go this route looking forward.
We need a system in advance. I agree.
Yeah, it's gotta be better, because this is,
we need to get together.
this is not.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, right,
I 100% agree, Joan.
we'll say that at the state level, we're already hearing that as far as the town goes. I mean, we always think it's only one referendum, but lately we've been running two. We're hearing about two primaries. They're not running at the same time, and then we're hearing about the gubernatorial.
Well, it is all cyclical. I mean,
Yeah.
it is all.
Understand that.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I don't want the stress of having to do this anymore.
No, no, nobody.
Our registrar
Nobody does.
does a phenomenal job.
Embarrassing.
Of course.
They do a great job,
So is their town clerk.
and it's not against anybody.
No, no. Yeah, it's just we got to come up with a fair system. That's all. Merry Christmas.
Item 13.
So who wants to talk about our next meeting here? This is
The calendar.
26th,
The calendar.
calendar. So I know Counselor Capola, Capola's not here, so
Oh, yes. I think
I don't
we
think
need to,
Can.
do we need to? I think we need to do it, right?
Yeah, but we have our next, we don't have another meeting in, next.
We gotta do by now, right? The calendar?
Yeah. Our first meeting's the 6th of January. We could put it off till that.
Should we?
You want-
You want to?
What is she, what did?
You have the calendar.
You want to talk to Sandy? Do we know what Sandy wanted? This is her.
I adjusted the date to what was discussed and what she corrected
Oh, okay.
at the last meeting.
She did correct it?
Want to wait until the,
We can do that?
January 6th, it's fine, but
You think you got what she, what?
as far as
And we could
Well, could we change it?
You could always amend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could always
Change
amend it.
Just,
I move we adopt the town council meeting calendar.
Oh, let's stay
for
longer.
2026.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so move. All right. what do we
Moving
got?
on.
Town manager
Manager.
report.
Yeah, guys, I got a long one.
No, he doesn't.
If it's,
kidding, it's-
if it's more than Merry Christmas, you're out of here.
It ends with Merry Christmas, but
It ends with Merry
I
Christmas.
do want to point out, congratulations to the Berlin High School football team.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. We did.
SM
Elected
championship.
to do that. Yeah, I'm glad you did. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, 13-0.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
For anybody who might want to pop by Town Hall tomorrow, we have our holiday party at noon.
that's right.
So,
Yeah.
You don't have to RSVP. You can, you're always welcome at Town Hall. So come on down.
What do you got? What do you got? Some good food, right?
We do. We have all sorts of good stuff.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'll just point out, we did have, so the ordinance committee met earlier today. The ordinance committee is slated to meet again on January 6th, so more to come on that. The fire services
Oh,
is
God.
gonna have to meet soon too, working with
Oh, yes.
Simons on that as well, just
Still working on it.
no.
It's cold here. Huh?
Councilor Prusen didn't ask yet about the YMCA, but I'm gonna assume.
You know I was going to.
Yes.
Want to know, I have a meeting with the YMCA CEO, John Benigni, on Monday, December 22nd.
Nice.
Jim Mahoney and some town staff, so more to come on that.
Good.
But we have a meeting on the books and we're working on that.
Are we finally going to get a date from them then on, when?
Yeah.
That-
So-
When's the meeting, did you say, with them?
Oh, yeah, it
Monday?
just got finalized today, so
Oh.
you're welcome to, if you.
Monday?
Make it, it's, I think it's virtual, yeah, December 22nd,
December 2nd.
on Monday, yeah. And, also last but not least, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Good one.
Yo.
Special committee reports.
We gave it.
We gave it. Counselor communications, we communicated enough
I
tonight?
just got one, I just have,
Oh, yes, sir.
I just have one thing I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Or actually two things. First off, and I know this is food for thought for next year, but again, on a charter revision,
Oh, you're killing us, Mark.
I know I am. I'm good for something. But that's one thing I just wanted to bring up. And something else I want to bring up too is like for the counselors, I know there's a lot of events that go on, like you just recently had the Wreaths Across America and a wreath laying here at the
Oh, there.
yeah, but found out about that later because that that's something that's true and dear to my heart on the
Yes.
on the wreath stuff. Do
I
you
thought
think-
that was sent out somewhere.
I didn't see anything because I would have been there for that.
But that was a new, that was resurrected, yes.
But here's my suggestion. Do you think for the time, now, Ryan, you're going to have to be part of this too, is that, do you think for the counselors and the mayor, putting aside the ribbon cuttings, we can have an event calendar that, like, there's things that you go to that, like, For example, if, you know, like Reach Across America, or, you know, a veterans breakfast or something at the community center, that there's an event calendar that, well, the mayor, you know, and your capacity too, Donna, as a state rep, you know, for Berlin, that the, you know, councils, if they're available, can go and show support. Because I would definitely have been at that wreath laying ceremony if I'd known about it.
Andra did, yeah, I didn't, honestly, we didn't know till Andra reached, yeah, it was last minute. No, it's new.
So I mean, what I'm saying, if we,
Yep.
you know, have an event calendar and, you know,
Or could you add it to the meeting calendar?
I would suggest my assistant Christie would be able to kind of.
I think she would do a good job doing it, really.
Do that.
For a while.
Yeah.
She still, well, Chris does a great job with.
Yeah, he sends out an email all the time.
We talk about this all the time. Just so you know, my office was not, we didn't get any notification. So it was the last.
It was.
I understand, Donna, but my thing is that, you know, there's a lot of things that happen, you know, like it could be an event that, you know, like, you know, like, you know, at the community center or over at the senior center. And I mean, like last year we were notified about it, but over at Pettit Little League, you know, different things like that. But you have an event calendar so the counselors can look at it and say, hey, I'm available. I'm going to go support it. You know, it just, you know, I think the support.
Yeah, it should be the same with ribbon cutting. Just send out whatever events there are, you know, and ribbon cuttings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll try and make.
Last but not least, you know, Ryan was mentioning, you know, we looked at, you know, the email came out from Christie about American Embroidery. So I was down there because, you know, I was going to go down. Yeah, she's very nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can get some good quality shirts to include the embroidery and, you know, whatever we want to have on there, embroidery and the tax all included for, I think it was $31 or $32. And all you'd have to do, and they're good quality shirts because she showed them to me, and it's just a matter of getting size and who wants a shirt, and yeah, they're polo shirts. Yeah,
They all have the bullseye in the back.
yeah. And each one of the shirt under the bullseye is going to say Peter Rosso on it. But
Do I get one that says mayor?
yes, you.
Oh, cool. I'm all in. That's all in. It's all good now.
But I mean,
Real bullseye, big bullseye in my back.
we would have to just decide on the color because there's like 2 or 3 different makes of the shirts and some of the colors are different. You know.
Oh, right. I think it like red and blue. How about that? You guys can be blue and we can be red. What a genius. What a genius.
We want to stay the same.
Just kidding.
I know,
Mark.
but I mean, but you can have it basically close to any color you want. It's just a matter of the funding, Ryan.
I think
and,
pink would be a lovely.
we could do pink too.
That might be a nice.
I mean, it'd be nice, as I mentioned before, you go to these functions.
Tired.
I am too.
No,
But
no.
I'm trying to get this in quick, but I mean, to
What's the
get,
difference at this point?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
just to get, you know, to get those,
What color would we want while we're talking about it? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, I mean,
logos, and they're embroidered too.
Did it in museums.
oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I would just suggest,
Some-
don't get the 100% cotton polos.
Oh, these are polyester with the sweat. They got this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this a garment company meeting or is this a council? No, I'm just kidding. I'm with you. No, we got it.
I get in my truck once and
We're way off the charts.
I get in my truck once and the white shirt's done. I mean,
I like fuchsia.
But I mean, it's something we could, look at, and
You're right. There.
but it's something we could look at because they're jammed until after the first of the year.
Well,
All right.
so
Wanna
we'll figure it out.
And then I would be more than happy to move forward and go down with the sizes and the shirts and everything, and then, you know, then go from there.
And then the label's the town seal, obviously.
Yeah, and that's included in the
Town
price.
seal. Yeah, huh? That's included in the
Town-
price.
Town logo.
That's the bullseye. Well, there's a big one on the back. There's a little one here.
But if
To
you
show you where the heart is.
if you
so they can
wanted
see.
to go,
some advertising in the back, you know. Easy
if you
go.
wanted to go, and this would have to be on the counselors, obviously, but if you want to get a nice jacket, they're $80 with the logo and your name on it
Oh,
for the winter time, but
maybe.
that's if you wanted to do that, But no, I looked into that because Ryan, you had mentioned that you never didn't get any feedback from anybody, but I told you I would go down there and I did, and that's where we stand. So think about it over Christmas, and then, Ryan, you can move forward with that, as far as, the shirts go.
We pick the color, right?
I don't know, did we talk about the funding?
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's paying for that?
Christmas is coming.
Yeah, Ryan, Christmas is coming.
Voting grant.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
On that note, I'm gonna.
Oh
on
no.
that note, I'm gonna be quiet.
I was thinking that, but I would never say it. But that's all right. No, Jeff can say it. He's the town attorney. He could say
I'm
it.
done.
All right. Okay.
You wouldn't have talked about it if you hadn't talked about early voting. That's what led to this. Otherwise, you would have had a quick meeting. You would have been going home by now.
That's true.
We need to manage this better for all of us.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a project for
we have
next
to-
year.
that's
I
a
agree
project
with
to
you on
figure
that,
that out.
Donna, wholeheartedly.
We can figure that out. All right. So we're good with that. And where are we at? Oh, the approval of the minutes. Let's approve the minutes.
Move we approve the minutes as presented from the November 25th meeting.
Second. Thank you. And all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. And motion to adjourn?
Move.
All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Try to
Thank
keep
you.
up.
Thank you, everyone. A little bit long, but that's all right. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays.
My hometown police.
There you go. Oh, man. Very good. Very good. Good.